Hello, sorry, messed that one up a bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Cherries Red Army watch along. This time today against Brentford Away. Thank you to all those who are joining me. Please do stick your names in the chat, say hello, let me know you're here, and start giving your thoughts about the game. But of course, not just about the game, because at the moment, AFCB Twitter or X, it's a little bit weird at the moment with this Jadon Anthony Luis Sinistera swap. I'd be interested to hear everyone's thoughts in the chat, because that's the first thing I think I really want to talk about before we get to the game. We'll touch on the lineups and we'll talk about everything else shortly. But Luis Sinistera coming in on loan, Jadon Anthony going to Leeds. I think there's a general consensus being come to on social media in terms of the move seems decent. I think we all like the idea of Luis Sinistera coming to Bournemouth. It's a loan. We believe there's an option to buy, not an obligation. There's an option to buy that is involved. But sending Jadon Anthony out on loan to Leeds, a player that came through our youth system, not all the way, but he spent the last few years of his youth career in Bournemouth. Obviously did very well, came in that Championship seed promotion winning season, did a decent job last year that didn't get a whole load of minutes, but certainly had impacts in certain games. Obviously, we all remember Nottingham Forest away. But, I don't know, it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth in terms of he's just signed a long-term contract, a 4-year deal. He definitely had options to go somewhere else for probably more money, because when you don't have to pay a transfer fee, the player can typically get a better, well, the agent definitely gets a better fee, and the player themselves probably gets a better deal. Yeah, it's just a little bit odd to me. Let's say hello to the people that join us. 60 Dancer, welcome. Archie, hello. Morgan, nice to see you. Hello, Ollie, thanks for joining. Sean, welcome back. Cameron and Mike, morning to all that's joining. Let's have a look at some of these thoughts. Find it weird because he was a starter for us, but it's a clear upgrade. It is in one regard, but as I believe you, Ollie, have pointed out, along with others, well, there might have been you on Twitter, Ollie, certainly others have. We're going from a player in Jadon that played in 45 games in the Championship and was available basically for pretty much the entirety of last season, versus Sinistera, who played like a dozen games last season. But I do think that we are so stacked in the wing, I don't think that really matters too much. Jadon, I don't think this is the Andoni system. I think that's the exact opposite. I think Jadon fits it better than Sinistera, personally, because Jadon will work harder and he's defensively more. He's shown in the Championship he's a very good ball winner going forward, and he presses well. But Sinistera, I think, has the quality to score, which Jadon hasn't shown in the Premier League enough. And I think that's the difference, which is maybe why they've gone for it. Anthony has been hit and miss Prem level, to be fair. Once the injuries come back, do we really think he would get in the team? True, but bearing in mind how injury prone a lot of the players we have are. Tavernier. Okay, Ouattara, this is his first major injury. Justin Cliver, I think, had a few injuries in his time. Sinistera is very injury prone. It's an interesting one. By the way, whenever I push back on some of these points, I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm not trying to shut down anyone's points in here. I'm just trying to continue the conversation, particularly when I'm the only one that's talking. Archie, I quite like the swap. I think Jadon will benefit a lot with the loan deal. I totally agree. And I don't think he's quite the standard currently, although Sinistera, yeah, that's okay. That basically completely agrees. I completely agree with that. Sinistera will be starting most weeks. Quite possibly. Left wing. Yeah, it's going between him and Cliver are the main options on the left, I would say. And I'd probably have Sinistera at the moment. Can't understand why we want another injured player. Yeah, to be fair, we've had a lot of those. Yeah. And hello, Chris. Nice of you to join. So, right, that's one that the discussion will continue. However, before we really kick onto that, we do have another football match to deal with today. And let me just bring up the split screen that Kirk has quite kindly put out on Cherries Red Army, as he does every single week. We have our lineups. As for Bournemouth, there is Senesi coming back in for Kelly. And apart from that, it's the same team. No, I think Cook is in for Rothwell, isn't he? It's just Cook has obviously come in the last couple of games, hasn't he? Yes. So we have two changes. We have Senesi in for Kelly, which I like, but also interestingly, Kelly, not only is Kelly not on the subs bench, according to reports at the ground, Kelly didn't even travel with the squad. So he may be injured again. Or he's very annoyed he didn't get that Tottenham move, and he's kind of trying to make a point. Maybe he said he's got a back injury because they're the easiest to fake. That'll be an interesting one to find out why Kelly's not involved. As for the other change, I think it's pretty clear now that Cook is favoured ahead of Rothwell in that DM role. Obviously, we're all waiting for Tyler Adams to come back in. But very much does seem like Cook is the preferred option as the more deeper lying player of the midfield too. The other thing I find a bit interesting, because it has it's not very clear in that graphic, because it does seem as though Christie has been playing as the deeper of Christie and Billing. And I think in a couple of regards, I think I agree with that in terms of I think that Christie clearly doesn't have the goal or assist numbers to really merit him playing in the number 10 role consistently ahead of Philip Billing. And I think he looks like he works harder, because I think Billing is unfairly labeled with the point that he is lazy, even though he's just basically provably not. But Billing, I think I would prefer to have Billing next to Cook as the deeper player, because I think he has a better all-round game than Christie. So that'll be an interesting one. But it's the front three is exactly the same. And, we'll have to see how they combine. It was a point that I sort of had to have a think about with Jadon leaving and Sinistera coming in. I'm a little worried about the lack of creativity, the provable creativity and assist numbers in this lineup. A little bit worried about the provable lack of creativity in terms of like the full assists, because if I can scroll through here, there we go. So I've just picked out FB Ref. Basically all the outfield players that are starting today, apart from Senesi and Zabani. And if we look at their last season in a top flight, how many assists are these players getting? Aaron's last time he was in the Premier League, he got 2 assists. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. There we go. Kirkes, last season he got 1 assist. Here we're looking at Ryan Christie. Last season he got 1 assist. Dominic Solanke is the big one. He got 7 assists. Then we've got Lewis Cook, last season, 2 assists. I can't even remember those. Philip Billing, last season, 1 assist. 7 goals, yes, but 1 assist. Justin Cliver, last season, 0 assists. Antoine Semenyo hasn't had a top flight season. So if we're being generous, we'll go back to his championship season, 2 assists. And then lastly, Jadon Anthony, who's just moved on, 1 assist last season. Luis Sinistera, who is coming in, 0 assists in his time at Leeds last season. I think you can see where I'm coming from here. There is a worrying lack of proven assist numbers in this squad. In terms of the current starting squad, because obviously you bring in Tavernier, that changes quite a bit. He got a decent number of assists last season. And as Ben has quite rightly pointed out, thank you for joining us, Ben, Tav's back on the bench, which is a really big, which is huge news. He's just so important for us. So I do need to see something a bit more in terms of the creativity from this team, because right now the creativity is Solanke. He's the one that provides the most assists in this entire team. I was worried that it was going to be Solanke provided more assists last season than every other player in that squad combined. It's not quite that bad, but it's not far off. So need to start seeing these midfielders step up, and particularly the wingers as well. More so, what I need to see more of is the fullbacks getting forward and providing those crosses, because that's something that Iraola got a lot out of Vallecano. Kirkes likes to come inside a little bit when he bombs forward, and he hasn't combined with Cliver enough. Aarons hasn't really bombed on as much as I want him to, and I do think that's partly down to fitness. So we need to see a lot more out of the fullbacks in terms of creativity going forward. I actually believe Ouattara and Tav are only... Yeah, Ouattara, actually, good point. Ouattara did get a fair few assists last season. It was his goal scoring that really let us down until he finally did score with that classic one against Spurs. Let's go and have a look back and see what people are saying. We've been used to expect loads of signing. We have been used to expect loads of signings at the end. This time it didn't happen. Yeah, but to be fair, Sinistera was our 8th summer signing. That sort of like last minute you're talking about, I'm assuming you're, Sean, mostly referring to that January buzz that we got, where we got 5 signings on the last day, and Nottingham Forest did that this time. But you look at how many of those are still here, and it's more who we try to get rid of. So just doing loads of business at the end does not necessarily make it a good thing. But yeah, we've made 8 signings. I prefer doing our business earlier in the window. No injuries, Chris Samples. Okay, if Kelly's not injured, then that's an interesting one. Who is our defender on the bench? Mepham and Smith. Oh, Adam Smith is back. So we've got another. So we've got Smith, Mepham, Rothwell, Kilkenny, who obviously didn't get a move, Traore, Brooks, Tavernier, and Moore. So we do have a couple of players back from injury, which is great. Archie, like the lineup, although I'd like to see Traore start more. I think whenever he comes on, he creates a lot and looks very lively. Yeah, but I do also think that he, for some reason, Iraola just doesn't see as much in him. And I think he prefers having Christie with the work rate in central midfield, and then Billing as the proven goal scorer going forward, which Traore hasn't done in a Bournemouth shirt yet. Although he did finally score his first goal, and boy, did it look like he enjoyed scoring that goal. I just wish Semenya was our main striker. Will never happen, though. I don't think he's necessarily cut out in this system to be the main striker. But I do think he would provide something different to Solanke and more. That means he should be used up front, maybe as a good substitute option, but I don't think he'd be the starting striker. Ollie, as much as fans want Traore to start, he won't, because Iraola likes Christie's well. Oh, there you go. I mentioned it. Thank you, Ollie, for backing up my point. Or I backed up your point. Sorry. Afternoon all feels a bit frustrating for Jaden, but he'll get more minutes there, hopefully, if he becomes a bit better and more confident, then great. Also, we've got a 5-year deal. Was it 5? I thought I read it was 4. Whichever, it's 4 or 5, whichever one. We've made a habit of putting everyone we buy on 5-year deals, which is not a bad thing to do. Solanke buying them with Billing. That's not in the system. I don't see that happening in this system at all. I feel Iraola wants his goals to come from his wingers. I was actually more of a false night. Yep. I did put a video out at the start of the season, start of pre-season. If you go back through the Cherries Red Army, it's in the Sparky Stats playlist, and I do plan on getting another Sparky Stat video out hopefully this week. I'm just struggling to get the right data I want for some of the things I'm thinking about. Solanke isn't necessarily the most important goal scorer in the team. He's much more useful in terms of helping progress the ball, being an option up front to release pressure, and often making dummy runs to allow space for the 10 and the 8 to run into the box behind him to come in at the last second, which Billing did fantastically last season. You just need the players to provide the crosses, which they are not doing right now. So Archie brought up that point before. Philip, hello, Philip. Didn't Dango get a few assists in a short time? He did. Yes, he did. But I think he's the most. I think he's. The thing is that when Iraola has spoken about injuries and who's looking to come back, he's mentioned that Alex Scott is the one that is most likely to come back last. but Dango hasn't been spoken about in those terms, and I felt as though he was meant to be. I think he had the worst injury from. I don't know why I feel as though I remember that Dango was the one most likely to return last. But then, of course, we bought Alex Scott, which is the other thing that I think people maybe I've seen one person I was chatting with on Discord recently talking about a lot of the wingers are injury prone. We've got 7 wingers at the moment, or at least 7 players, arguably 8 that can play on the wing. In terms of pure numbers, we've got way more than we need out wide. You just know that some of those, Brooks, Christie, arguably, well, I've used Traore in the 8. He's not in the 7 I spoke about. But then even Semenyo, who play more centrally. So many of the players that would probably play out wide also can play down the middle. And obviously Christie at the moment is playing as a number 8. So it sounds like Kelly wasn't right in the headspace to play. He definitely isn't signing an extension. We'll move in January. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't have any issues. And I do think that Kelly I think that when the fans in the ground started booing him when he was taking touches, his career at Bournemouth was over. Because as a player, you almost never get to a point where you feel as though you want to be in that club anymore. Because I think even when Granit Xhaka, who obviously is a famous story of a player that sort of turned around his reputation with a fan base, I don't remember him getting booed when he was on the ball for Arsenal. I remember him being jeered for his decisions. I remember them being very frustrated when he was getting subbed off the pitch and making a fuss, and they thought there was no way back. A lot of Arsenal fans thought there was no way back for Xhaka in the team, but I don't think any fan base has ever sort of got to the point in which they were just booing a player for being on the ball, and there was no right to it. There's no possible reason you could feel as though he'd done that badly to deserve that treatment. And if I was him, I would have been asking for a move that summer. And I think he probably was. Now we need to just try and get whatever we can for him in January and replace him. Because if I was Kelly, I would have been trying to get out months ago. And I don't blame him in the slightest. I think that treatment from the fans was absolutely despicable. I think it's like he's underrated by out fans. He provides so much other than the GM. No, I think he's overrated by opposition fans. I think there's a number of fans that just assume Solanke is now Premier League quality now. And I think that really he's approaching that. I don't think he is, you can say, without a doubt, he is the guy that's going to get you the goals you need to stay up. He got 6 last season. That's not a lot. You can't score 6 goals in the Premier League as the main striker for a team and just be now seen as the guy. It's like, that's not a lot. Whereas I think a lot of opposition fans think of Solanke and go, no, he's the guy. For us, we know it's about everything else that he does. Whereas I think opposition fans, a lot of them probably just go, he's Prem quality. And I think he's still got to prove that as of yet. Dango said 2 weeks to me after the West Ham game. Obviously, wasn't after the West Ham game. Okay, yeah. Maybe that means we're not that far away. No, unfortunately, Sean, I haven't done that. It's something that's escaped my mind. I need to start doing some research and looking into getting myself on OBS and sorting out a proper streaming setup. Because at the moment, StreamYard is great, but it's very simple and it doesn't allow all that much on top of what you see every single Cherries Red Army video. As much as Kirk does some great job with his edits and his videos and his stuff, but for a live thing like this, I do think that I need to try and sort out working OBS. George, hello. Nervous about the game, but hopefully the midweek win gives us some much needed confidence. I totally agree, and I really hope it does. Ben saying, and Archie also get annoyed about judging players on pure fantasy points, but at the same time, we have league players who also seem to not have as much end product as we like. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I'm staying away from Bournemouth as much as I can this season for the first 2 months in fantasy. I say that, watch Christie get a goal into it. So, God, if he does, it'll shut me up, and I don't care. I can't believe Tottenham got together. He's a bottom half Prem defender at the most. They want Champions League level player. Kelly has the physical attributes to be an elite defender. You can coach the rest. There's only so much you can take the physical attributes of a player. And I really do think that Kelly has the physical, he has the height, he has the strength, he has the speed, he has the agility, he has the strength. I think he's got so much that can make him an elite centre back. He just has zero confidence right now, and he is making bad decisions. And that is what's making it more frustrating for Bournemouth fans. And it's mean that Kelly doesn't get that confidence that he needs to really push on. And I think Ange Postecoglou would make him European level quality. I really do, because after Eddie, I don't think he's really had it. And once we went down, I don't think he's never really got it back properly. He did for the first season in the Championship to a decent extent, but I just think that was a holdover. Once he started getting those injuries, he really suffered. As we couldn't sign Daka, I just hope Slang doesn't get injured as hard as it is. Yeah, I think we will. I think we definitely will. But, we've got more, as much as we don't think he's necessarily good enough at this level. Semenyo can play there. I think Kluivert should probably get there a bit more of a chance there. And I think Sinistera could play as a 9 as well. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, totally agree with you. Good morning from Mexico. Hello, Sean. Welcome to join us from Mexico. Nice and early for you. Ben Ings. Hope no, not Ings. It's nice. It's nice, but no, he doesn't fit the current mold as well. Anyway, I don't think. Yeah, George, I sort of brought it up at the beginning. We'll be talking a little bit more about the game, obviously, in the next 8 minutes. But if you want to rewind at some point and catch a lot of the guys' opinions on the Sinistera one, personally, it just leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth in terms of Jayden going, because I don't think he necessarily deserved that. But I do think he will get more out of that loan. And then Sinistera is a goal scoring upgrade, but I don't think he fits the system as well as Jayden does. Well, I can only think of Abue at Arsenal getting booed off by the fans. Never a place. Yeah, getting booed off the pitch. Yes, just like Xhaka did, but not actually taking a touch in the football game. Every single time the ball reaches your feet, you're getting booed by your own fans. That was despicable, frankly. Hello, Sammy. I think Kelly could thrive elsewhere. Our fans are some of them crushes completely. Absolutely agree. That's what I was talking about just then. Sean, I think once we get our injuries back, we have a strong first team. When we stay up, when you sort out the back, it's set pieces for me. It's I think Senesi and Zabani as your central two, while lacking a little bit in the recovery pace that Kelly provides. Kelly provides that slightly more than the other two. While lacking in that recovery pace, I think that central defensive partnership is an incredible partnership for this level. I think they could be fantastic, but I think Aaron still needs to get up to speed a little bit more. Kirkes has been great so far, but I worry about once or twice he may sort of like bomb forward and then get caught out, which is why we need Tyler Adams back to provide that cover. But mostly, it's the damn set pieces that we are massively struggling with. I'll get to you in a second, Bradley. Ben, there's a good player in Kelly, but I don't think his game intelligence has grown as much as I'd like to have seen. Too often quite out of position, breaking his own back line. True. Very good point. Those are the two real massive issues. And again, this can be taught. I think this can be taught to an extent. He's far too, and this is confidence related as well. He's often far too worried. He drops deep too quickly, which affects you in two ways. Firstly, it affects you in breaking the line, which, as you mentioned, Ben, enough times, he's the deepest player. You can't be doing that. You can't be messing up your own back line. You should be leading that. And secondly, on counters, my God, is he terrible at dealing with players running at him on the counter. He gives them like 2 yards of space, which is just allowing them to do whatever you like. You can't keep doing that. You've only got to look at the one I always go to is Kevin De Bruyne's goal in the 4-0 loss last season away. Just look at Kevin De Bruyne's goal and look at how lacking in a challenge Kelly puts into that goal. He backs off 2 yards and just allows KDB to move forward under no pressure. That is a massive weakness in his game. And that, again, stems from confidence. Right. So, coming to Bradley again. Score prediction. Well, that gives us all a chance to put our score predictions down. We are 3 minutes-ish away from kickoff. Score predictions, please drop them in the comments now. Let's get that down on paper. We have 34. Wow, thank you very much. This is our most successful one so far. Understandably, it's our first away game that we're doing a watch along for. But please do pop your predictions in the comments. I want to see them. It's going to be a blooming tough game. It's another one that I struggle to see us winning in. I'm a little bit more positive now after the midweek win against Swansea. Just in terms of we've got a little bit of confidence. Brentford didn't play well in their game, but at least we put together a good 45 minutes. So I'm going for a draw. I think I ended up going 1-1, although I was tempted to go with 2-2, but I am going with a draw. I'm going with 1-1, and that is very positive for me. I do think we'll score. I do think we'll concede. The massive issue that we're going to have, I think, is Mbeumo, Vissa, and Sade over the top. That ball's over the top of our defence. That worries me a lot. If we press up in the way that I expect us to, we will get blown to bits, I think, with balls over the top, just completely destroying our back line. That is the big worry for me. If we press up high, if we are successful in that press, we can then turn that into chances, which we finally did against Swansea. Brooks' first goal was the perfect example of where your press needs to turn into chance creation. And Jaden Anthony, the now moved on Jaden Anthony, was fantastic in creating that chance for Brooks. We need to start making chances from the pressing that we're doing. So, Bradley, I'll come to you first. 3-1 Brentford. That sounds like a prediction that I would come up with. Let's just have a look at your point as well. Kelly is possibly our most physical centre-back on par with Zabani. He's also our fastest, but he seems to lose concentration, struggles in counters. Yep, totally agree. I think Zabani is the stronger, but in terms of pace, it's Kelly, definitely. I'm glad I don't like away kit, but wonder why we're wearing. It's a very light blue, might clash with the white on Brentford's kit. This you've got no issue with. This lovely third kit. Yes, do like this. Any excuse to bust this out. Sammy with the famous 3-1. Archie going with hopefully 2-1 to the Cherries. Ollie is also going 2-1 to the Cherries. Ben sticking with his 3-1. Sammy being joined by Ben there. Sean 2-1 with a Tavernier winner. That wouldn't surprise me. Brentford 2-1. Experience tells, says Philip. We'll take time to click. Yes, things will. I thought we were talking about click on the computer screen for a second. Yeah, things will take a bit more time. I totally agree, Donna. I say that beginning of October. First game is October at Arsenal. Against Arsenal. I can't remember whether we're home or away. That game is like the final warm-up game to the massive crunch time where we play Wolves, Everton, and Burnley in succession. That is when things must be ready. Ben and Sammy giving their predictions of who scores. Sean give a shout out to not give away the score. Oh yes, sorry. In fact, let me just get myself together actually, because otherwise I'm going to miss the start of the game. I am almost inevitably going to be behind any of the rest of you that are watching. This. So if a goal goes in, if there is a goal, please try not to spoil it, because I'm going to see it after you, and therefore I'm not going to be able to give you a genuine reaction. So please try and wait until I've seen the goal, and then we can start talking about it. Hello, Wayne. Nice of you to join us. You must be a little bit worried about how you must be very thankful that Paulinho didn't go. I would imagine on Dread Blind Day there, Wayne. 2-2. I would happily take that. Matt's feeling positive, going for a 2-0 Bournemouth. Ian's going for a 2-1 Solanke Semenyo. Let me just put the team lineups, just scrolling on the bottom. Solanke and Semenyo with a 2-1. I'd be very pleased with that. So, oh, hang on. I told you I'd miss it. First half's already started. Ian also worrying has my same fears about Sharda and Mbeumo on the counter. Yes, very worried. Arsenal is at home. Right. So that's the game, Phil, that I think that if we're not ready and like if everything hasn't like totally clicked by that point, then you can start being a little bit concerned. Um, and hello, Kurt. Great to see so many of you interacting with John. Be able to smash that like button. Yes, please. Thank you for so many of you joining. 35 of you watching at the moment. Please hit that like button, the little thumbs up at the bottom. Really does help. Right, so I'm a minute in. I am bang on a minute in on mine. Bournemouth. Ooh, uh, Christie there putting the ball in the box, claimed by Fleck. Um, but it's a good start. Yeah, so that was Cliver picking up the ball and Christie getting bombing on down the left-hand side. That's interesting. I wonder how we're setting up today in terms of. I mentioned earlier that Christie and Billing have so far had Billing playing in the 10 and Christie as the 8. That was the case the previous two league games. But in our first league game, it was Billing as the 8 and Christie as the 10. And it looks like it's returned to that. Now, if they're constantly swapping around, that's an interesting fluidity. But I have a feeling that maybe Iraiola's still not quite sure as to which way around he wants them. Of course, in hopefully in 3 or 4 weeks, um, we'll obviously have Adams as the DM, and we'll be a little bit more secure. And you can be a little bit more free with who you want to play as the 8 and the 10. Right, there's Shard pushing over Sade. Pushing over Aaron's when they look like they were on the break for a second there. Right, I'll clear that out. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Neto taking his time with the kick as usual. So if anyone's got any thoughts on aspects of our game, any particular players, can maybe have a look at some stats on some things later down the line. Do pop your questions away in the chat. Certainly from the start here, Bournemouth certainly are not playing as directly as Brentford at the moment, it looks like. It's going to be quite interesting on that because Bournemouth's Iraiola's style, El Sinistera there, sat between Richard Hughes and Simon Francis. What was I saying? Oh, yes, style of play. Ooh, Aaron's with a silly foul on Sharda. In terms of style of play, Iraola wants to play more direct, wants to be more fast paced, get the ball forward quicker. But Brentford are much more specialised at that. They will play those balls long all day into the channels for Sharda Vista and Mbeumo. So we'll see about that. Philip, free kick coming in from Brentford. Philip Billing misses the ball. It goes long, cleared out by Solanke. Billing helps it on its way. I'll come to your point in a second, Bill. Then me against Kirkers on the wing. Kirkers, don't foul him. Don't foul him. He's got a Bournemouth throw. Well done. A little bit lucky there. I'm not sure that went out quite fully. Philip, would it be too passive for the start to have Rothman and Cook starting? Seems like one or the other currently. I don't think so. I think you can make that work. And I think both would prefer to be further forward than they have been playing. Certainly Rothwell would be. Because Cook, I think, is happier to sit. But if you've got Philip Billing, then I would certainly rather play him with the more defensive one, which would be Cook. I'll come to Ben's points in a moment. Brentford having some territory in Bournemouth's third. Looks like a cross coming in from the right-hand side. And Neto tries to claim it. Totally. I just don't know what Neto's trying to do there. Neto goes to try and claim a cross, can't quite grab it. It's too far out of the way. And he probably could have left it, but he tips it sort of into the corner of the box, runs after the ball, can't pick it up because the ball's made its way out of the area, goes to clear it, but Sharda's too fast and gets there ahead of him. Neto kicks Sharda, and Neto's a little bit lucky he hasn't got a yellow card for that. But another instance where Neto's just is starting to worry us a little bit too much at the moment. And I think if Cook was fit at the start of the season, we might have seen them both play against Liverpool and Spurs. Possibly. Double pivot against teams we worry about and single for everyone else. I think we'll probably be playing a double pivot a lot then. He was trying against him, Shadow jumps in the air and booted Neto. No, he didn't boot Neto. Neto kicked him in the back of the leg. Free kick, taken to shoot, and that's a great save from Neto. He got a little bit lucky there, but that's a really good save from Neto. Neto took a very bad position there. It's a goal. Oh, Neto, that's so poor. That's so poor from Neto. He gives away the free kick stupidly, and it's definitely a free kick. And then secondly, he takes up a terrible position in the box. On his line, you've got to deal with the worry that they will shoot from there, because it can happen. Shot goes in. Neto is scrambling across to try and save it, tip it away. Ball goes in the back, and ball crosses the line. Utterly stupid, and all from the goalkeeper's mistakes. All from the goalkeeper's mistakes. Oh, it's miles over the line. Flipping out. Just terrible. Absolutely terrible. You can't be going to a place like Brentford that want to just sit in and counter on you and then give away a goal in the first 7 minutes. Because that's a giveaway. That's a total giveaway. Great technique from the kick taker would be Janssen or Janelt. Janssen, sorry. Great technique from Janssen. But that's diabolical. That is absolutely diabolical from the captain. Semenyo has done well to win a corner off Henry. Oh no, sorry, my mistake. Offside given, I think. It's either offside or a foul. One or the other. I thought Semenyo had won a corner then. Let's have a look at some people. How come you're not at the game? Because I don't have a car and it's difficult to get to Brentford and back on a Saturday. And it's flipping expensive on the train. So many reasons: availability, transport, money, which is the reason why you don't go to anything. Brain foggy, brain from body separation from Neto, massive brain fade from it. Yep, along those lines. Solanio Clive is back up for Solanke. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they're both playing, but both of them could play as a striker. Already looked at that one. Yeah, just going to read the well overlay. Yeah, brain phase. Hello, Keith. Afternoon. I've been worried about Neto since the start of the season. Well, I mean, I wasn't worried about Neto mostly, but the thing is, he's made mistakes all throughout last season, but none of those mistakes ever cost us. Whereas now, I think he should have done better for the third goal against Liverpool, which may be a little bit harsh, but I think he definitely should have done. I think you could argue he maybe could have got to the ball, could have done a little bit better with the Madison goal against Spurs. It was very close to him. I think he maybe could have done better. And then this goal was entirely his fault. From the free kick to the goal, it's to the taking of the free kick and the goal itself. Nightmare from our captain. Yeah, jokers, I want to say. If he was worried about the shot, why didn't he cover the near post? Well, it's not that you need and the thing is, it's not that you need a player at the near post. He clearly wasn't thinking about the shot, which is stupid. Because you have to consider the shot. shots are taken from that position all the time. They just generally don't go in because the keeper's not so stupid as to put himself like closer to the back post than the near post. I mean, we like a combat, yeah. Positioning errors in him, absolutely. Yeah, let's have those moments. Oh, thank you. Great inspiration. Thank you very much. No problem. Yeah, true. Boris made mistakes, and he made more mistakes than Neto did, but that didn't stop us from being very frustrated when he made those mistakes. I mean, you've only got to remember that famous 4-3 comeback at Liverpool. He messed up massively for the first 2 goals because he didn't come out for the first one when he shouldn't have done, and then he came out for the second one when he shouldn't have done. He he, he let his errors compound, Boric, and that is exactly what Neto just did. He made the mistake to give the free kick away in the first place, and then made the mistake for the goal to go in. Very stupid. By the way, did Iraola get a yellow card? I feel as though something. I think the referee went over to Iraola, so I don't think he got a yellow, but I know he got a talking to from the ref. I'm just worried that will shoot our confidence. I mean, we'll be having a look. I think we'll be having a look at keepers in the summer, if not earlier. You never know. Radu might come in after that one because that's not a mistake I want to be seeing on a regular basis. Well, 12 minutes and 15 seconds in. Unfortunately, a goal down already, away from home at a very good Brentford side. Um, I can be quick about it. I want to have a look at understat.com because I believe um, Brentford are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just bring this up on the screen. So more of you can see it. Oh, why is that not showing correctly? Oh, it's showing the window rather than. Hang on, let me try that again. Present. Share screen. Entire screen. There we go. So here, understat.com brings you the XG stats that many of you probably want to dismiss out of hand, but they are pretty good at showing how good the team is going forward and defending outside of the overall scoreline. I think if we bear in mind Everton has played an additional game, shows that they're actually getting decent well going forward. But going first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Brentford are the 8th best side in terms of XG so far this season. And in terms of expected goals against, they're 3rd best in the league as well. So they've got statistically the 3rd best defence in the league, and we're already 1-0 down. Not exactly what you want at all. I also think while Christine Billing worked hard in the 10, I prefer have something more creative in the rock. That's something that I actually brought up at the start. I don't know whether you're at all earlier on, Keith. I mentioned that I worry about the creative numbers in the side. In terms of assist numbers, outside of Solanke, none of the players in this starting 11 got more than 2 assists in their last top flight campaign. That's not good. And Semenyo, obviously, his last one was last season with 0 goals. If you take his championship season last year, he got 2 in half a season. It's like creatively, there's not enough in this side. And that's why I feel as though that was the other sort of thing in my head about the Sinisterra Anthony switch. Anthony has shown that he can provide assists, at least in the championship. He didn't really get the time to show it necessarily in the Prem. He only got 1 last season. But Sinisterra didn't get a single assist last season. And didn't play all that much either. Um, yeah, thank you for re-showing that goal and adding to my misery. Something went a little off with the games with the goal line system, and it didn't come to probably Madly's watch straight away. It should have done. Um, yeah, Christie looks like he's playing in more of the 10 because he's going across that position because he's on the right at the moment. But early on in the match, when he provided a cross into the box, he was on the left hand side, and I think that suits him better than Billy. Um, but you need to make sure Billing actually gets forward. I think Anthony did. I think Anthony mostly struggled. I don't think he quite suits the 10. I understand why he could play there, but I think one of the issues that we had with one of the issues that we had, I think, with Anthony on that left hand side was that, particularly if he had Kelly on at left back, is that he didn't have the support and the combinations. He was at his most effective when he had a fullback and a central midfielder that were able to assist in combinations and help him drive forward and help the team drive forward. That's why we were so good in that first half third of our championship promotion season, because Kelly, Zamora, and Billing was basically our entire attack. They were so good as a combination, and he would have done better in the number 10 this season without a doubt. But again, I don't think he's really shown himself to be at the quality of the rest of our attackers. Solanke is going through 1-on-2. He's muscled his way past one. Now he's up against me, and he doesn't get through him. There was no Bournemouth back up there at all, which is a worry. How are we playing in general? First 15, 20 minutes. Not really produce anything going forward. Apart from one or two forays, we look a little bit vulnerable in quite a few moments with Brentford just passing and going over, through, and around our press, which is the thing that was going to worry me the most going into this game. I've long thought the same though. Almost. Oh, how about Christie in the box, pushing past one, pushing past Christie, pushing past three, pushing past four. God makes the ranking on his way. Oh, Ryan Christie just walked through three players, and Solanke got in his way. Move, man. But he should have just shot. Shoot there. Shoot. No, don't shoot there. Then he should have shot there, and then Solanke would have been offside as well. But Solanke just needs to move out of the way. Ryan Christie picks up this ball on the left side of the box. He goes past Pinnock too easily. Ben Mee slides in, and then Solanke would have been offside. But Solanke just needs to jump backwards, move out of the way. But this press is working now. Semenyo passing it inside to Christie. Wide to Clivert, waiting for the overlap from Kirkers, which isn't coming. Clivert's pushing on, tries to go past one, doesn't do it. Where the hell is Kirkers? Yeah, he just didn't push on. Where was Kirkers? Great work from Clivert there. Now Christie pushing forward, puts it into the box. Oh, miles away. Oh, got a deflection. Apparently the keeper kept that in, but Solanke's picked it up as a result. Right, there we go. One little bit of magic that didn't quite work out with Christie, and suddenly Brentford can't get out of their own half. Creative, I won't be putting that comment on screen. So thank you for your comment. Philip Billing pushing through to Solanke, who passes it to Cliver, who tries to twist past one or two. Christie then gets the ball against the Semenyo, who shoots. It bounces off I think that bounces off a Brentford player. Billing pressing, Cliver pressing well, and that's a foul. Oh, referee should have let that play on. That was a really good foul in the end for Cliver because Brentford had just, with two passes, completely got through our high press. Who for, Sean? It's not happening. Dom needs more support. And in that instance, yeah, he messed up. But how many of our team have messed up? How many hundreds of Christie messed up in front of goal? At any point, I think it's because he's on his right foot. He didn't want to shoot with his right foot. He should have done. He just didn't want to shoot with his right foot. Yeah, there we go. That was better. That's Zabani pushing very high in the press, but then they can get round that quite well and quickly and efficiently. Aaron's up against Sharda. Sharda through off the post. It's a good save in the end, but Max Aarons was beaten by Kevin Sharda too easily there for pace, and that was worrying. Now, this is that instance of that high press that I was most concerned about. It's that ball over the top, and Aarons has got decent pace, but he doesn't have the pace to deal with the lightning movement that Kevin Sharda's got. Aarons has to use his physicality a bit more there. He doesn't push himself into Sharda enough to make him off balance. I wasn't looking properly. I think that was a save. I really expected that to go in. Yeah, better there. But I think Aarons needs to do better. And this is the bit of a worry on part for looking at him now. Corner comes in, ends up bouncing to this. This or Wemmer, whoever it is. Then comes to Wemmer, who tries to dink it over the top straight into Neto's arms. Long ball over the top of Neto, goes to no one, but we do get the second ball, and then Cook loses it. Yeah, Cook just loses out. He's not protecting that well enough from the press that he didn't see coming. Well, the game is lit up now. Aaron's had a good couple yards on him when the run started, I think. Sharda just made up that ground like nothing. And what Aarons needs to do there, when they're running parallel, Aarons needs to try and push him off. And he doesn't do that until it's too late, and we almost conceded again. And then Aarons does really well. What did I just say? He needs to push himself into the player. He does that, and he pushes Sharda off the ball and wins us a throw. Thank you. Isn't it great when something you say just ends up? Has everyone else had that moment where you say something and the commentator follows up by saying exactly the same thing less than 5 seconds later? And in that instance, I said something and the player did what I asked him to do within 2 seconds, and it worked. Anyway, that's enough. Blowing smoke at my own backside. Need to be careful here. That pass to Tanetti was short from Philip Blaine, but just about able to clear it. But now Sharda's on the ball again with a lot of room, plays that into Visser, who turns, who shoots, and the ball almost bounces to, more really good work from Neto. That was Janelt, I think, who got there first in the end, but Neto doesn't take him down, and he puts out a play for a goal kick. Ooh, that was close. Ball bounces off Zabani a little bit awkwardly there, but yeah, good work in the end. Good header winning from Semenyo. Solanke tries to get past Mendy, but can't. Depends. If all you want from him is going forward, then yes, but I think he's got enough of his game to do everything, and you need someone that can defend, maintain possession, circulate. Literally nothing that Billing can't do. So I want him to be involved more in the game, and sometimes you have to be deeper for that. Good work from Aarons, wins a foul there. But the commentary was Andy Townsend. So shut up. Yep. Okay. To be fair, I agree with you on that one then. Hello, Wayne. Nice you to join the afternoon from. First thing, I'm assuming that's what it must say. Why was Dom getting in the way of a great goal by Ryan Christie? Yeah, okay, he made a mistake. Come on, it's Ryan Christie. He should have shot before he got to Solanke. It's because it was on his right foot. He didn't have the confidence, so he kept dribbling. Cross comes in from was Aarons. Aarons? Cross came in, was dealt with relatively well. Semenyo's offside there, isn't he? I'm amazed that didn't get pulled offside. He's dealt really well with that and almost gets through to Senesi, who then that's difficult to commentate on what was almost turned into a bundle there. In the end, Sharjah defended relatively well against Semenyo, who was doing pretty well against three others. But in the end, it's a goal kick. 25 minutes gone, actually 25, 57, 58, and it is 26 minutes on the clock for me. Look, wing. I totally get that you should be frustrated with Solanke in there because he should have been more aware. He should have been more aware of what might happen. But at the same time, I don't think you can just completely look at just Solanke being a little bit slow on that one. I think Christie should have shot well earlier. Yeah, it might have been. I mean, I think that the keeper was right on top of him by the point that Solanke touched it as well. Okay, it wasn't quite. He was close. I don't expect the Christie. I wouldn't have bet on Christie finishing that with his right foot. Ooh, that looked like it was a bit nasty. But Solanke now has the ball going forward, getting into the box, looking for options. No one's really got in there. He's trying to find Cliver, but doesn't. And Ben Mee does really well to chest that back to Fleck. Sorry, I keep calling him Fleck. That's the ex-Sheffield United midfielder, Flecken, the goalkeeper they brought in from Freiburg to replace Raya, who's now competing for the number one spot at Arsenal with our own Aaron Ramsdale, or our treasured Aaron Ramsdale. There you go. Don't think Christie ever has, to be fair. Bet on his own right. But Bournemouth have been a lot more involved, thankfully, since the goal. Good work there from Cliver. Billing, that's it. Get involved, man. Bournemouth in the Brentford third. Christie into Billing, about 30 yards, 20 yards out. Christie on it. Take the shot. Oh, just wide. About time he actually took the blinking shot. But yeah, he's really pushing on. Like to see it. Just want that a little bit better finishing touch. Really good aggressiveness from Cliver and Billing to win that back. Christie pushed up, played basically a 1-2 with Billing, and Christie ended up with loads of room. He had the opportunity to shoot. He should have, and he took it. I think he would have scored the goal of the season. There were several ways he could have finished otherwise, John. All ifs and buts in the end. Bournemouth have had basically 2/3 possession in the last 5 minutes. They've been much the better side in those 5 minutes, but we're still 1-0 down. Yeah, nearly again. That is better from Christie. Or assist. He's not providing those numbers either, Philip, at the moment. Oh, Cookie, come on, play it easy sometimes. Okay, he wins the ball back there. How many minutes do we think Tav has in his legs? Yeah, I mean, he'll get 20 minutes, I think, probably, if we're losing. Ball forward from Senesi. Brentford player goes down. Clive in the box. He takes the ball, goes for the shot. It bounces back. He's still got it. He's going for it. It's still looking to ball to someone, but no, it ends up being dealt with by Brentford. Oh, and then he gets nutmegged. Oh, that's embarrassing. Almost good work there from Clive. Ball forward there from Brentford. Oh, wonderful sliding tackle from Kirkhead. You love to see it. Christie with the ball. Going forward, Solanke is there. He's one with Ben Mee. He's got to beat him to take the shot. Takes the shot. Goal! Dominic Solanke. That is the moment that you want to see for him. Let's update that. I think Bournemouth have definitely deserved that over the last 5 to 10 minutes. That's the kind of quick play that we want to see. I believe that's a Christie assist. I mean, Solanke does all the work, but I believe that's a Christie assist. No, Senesi. What am I talking about? It's a Senesi assist. It was a left footer, so I just assumed it was Christie, but no, that's Senesi. That's a Senesi assist. Our creativity is coming from freaking centre back. But this is the thing that I think. This is the point that I've made in terms of when you compare Kelly and Senesi. Kelly isn't playing that ball. Kelly just isn't, and that's the lack of confidence he has. But even if he plays that from Kelly, he doesn't play it in the way that allows him to make the most of that. I'm assuming that's a Senesi assist because it's a player who came from far too deep to be Christie. So apologies, Wayne. I said Christie because I saw a left footer take it. I was assuming it was Christie. I actually think that's Senesi. I need to have a look and double check that it was. Best way to do that is to check the Yell account on Twitter because they're the ones that will check. They're the ones that'll be up on that quicker than anyone else. Senesi, yes, absolutely right. Michael Senesi. He will play that ball. Senesi is so vital, and it's also one of the reasons why I don't think we'll have him for more than another 12 months. I think Senesi is destined for a big European move. I really do think he is. I think Senesi is just so much better than this level than the level we're currently at. If we can start pushing for them, then he'll stick around. But let's go through the comments. Goal from and do. I know you're pleased, guys, but bear in mind that I'm behind the rest of you. So I would. Oh, actually, we're pushing on again. Dominic Solanke through to Ryan Christie's in the box. Almost got taken out, but didn't take it past one, but can't take it past the second. John makes amends. Yeah, absolutely. There's the 1-1. Right, Royce and get in. Clive doing stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Good reprieve from Tom. I missed that, but Senesi's just been given as a foul for, even though I think he won the ball, I think he's given for that for an aggressive tackle. Dom, Sean eating humble pie, Wing, Will, and yep, not so bad now. Beautiful strike different. Yeah, it was really, really nice. Sean's getting a lot of. Sean's getting his stick. He's eating his humble pie. Yes, Senesi, good tackle, but his training leg swipes into Wissa, so it's quite rightly a foul. It's just a shame Romero didn't get a yellow card for that when we were playing against Tottenham. Referees aren't as good as they should be. As I've already said, it's Messi assist, get in from Archie, Clive improving, yep. Yeah, yeah. And getting to Linky, Senesi's right for us, absolutely. I'll come to more of these comments in a bit. We've got a free kick about 35 yards out. Jensen taking it quickly. Completely free header for Ethan Pinnock. Not good. Again, this flipping set piece defending. Really not good enough. Oh, and who is that? Kirkes just kept everyone on side as well. That's some naivety from Kirkes there as well. But Zabani, what is it about Zabani? It's something I didn't notice when I was watching when I was at the Liverpool game. Someone pointed it out to me afterwards that Zabani just seems to be terrible at just handling set pieces and dealing with his man in set pieces. And yet again, I would say Ethan Pinnock was closest to the man that got the completely free header. Both Aarons and Zabani didn't deal with it. Wissa just got his foot in a tangle and Neto gets the ball and sets him on his way. We will be that European side. Well, I mean, if we are, then I'd love it. Second guy falling over Marcos. What was that? Oh, yes. I didn't really pay attention to that, but this will stay as. I hope he does. I really think a big side will come in from. Those Manchester City rumours were about a year and a half too early. The question, John, why has climate been so divisive? I wouldn't say he's been like a standout, but I would say that my only real issue with him so far is that he hasn't. It's probably twofold. I would say one, he hasn't been as Oh, that's another lovely slide tackle from Max Aarons. God, I want to see slide tackles come back. When they're like that, they work out brilliantly. Zavani bring the ball out wonderfully. And then he passes it straight to a Brentford player. Sharda plays the ball forward to an overlapping Rico Henry, who doesn't quite keep the ball in. Two issues at the moment with Private, because I was at the Atalanta friendly and I rated him very well. I thought he had a fantastic game against quite an aging wing back in Zappacosta, but I thought he had a really good game against Atalanta. And I think that he needs to use his strength more. But my issues are more so that I don't think he has quite as much defensive awareness as Anthony, who has now moved on. So Anthony was the one to compare him to. And two, he hasn't combined with Kirkes anywhere near enough. Kirkes those two need to form a partnership, because if they play as two individuals, then they won't make anything happen. But in this game in particular, he's worked very hard, which has been very great to see. Um, won the ball a couple of times and put in some strong tackles. And then I suppose because he hasn't scored, because he hasn't really also taken all too many good shots, I would say, quite so far. I suppose because it hasn't caught the eye massively, he just hasn't. I think a lot of people have maybe just sort of not noticed him, and that's maybe why they kind of go, "Well, he clearly didn't do anything because I don't remember him doing anything." And it's like, well, actually, I think he has his moments, but need to see more from him, undoubtedly. Yeah, exactly. That's. I didn't really see the incident, but I think I kind of got what you were sort of talking about. Um, I have no idea what you're talking about, Justin. Henson, Zab is he is a unit. He's the one thing Zabani does do is um, is that when it's a one-on-one duel for a long ball cleared from defence, I don't think he's lost a header yet. He is unbelievably good at open play aerial defence. From dealing with balls long that are competitions where two players are going up to jump for it and win the header, he gets it every time. He's amazing at just completely dominating an attacker in the air in a one-on-one. But he clearly can't follow his man defensively, which is a worry, a big worry. Yeah, me too, Wing. Slow in the press and not defensive, but his game has been communicating with more and then having movement confidence. Yeah. Ball coming forward. Speaking of Cliver, he's on the ball on the left hand side, attacking his man. Jinxes again. Puts the cross in and defended by Pinnock. Need to see more than just Semenyo and Solanke close to that. Brentford playing out quite nicely. That press needs to be a little bit stronger, because we can definitely push them into making a mistake in that situation. But it was a little bit lax there. Need to see more. Billing doing his job, flecking on the ball, playing it over Frankie White than me. If Flecking can play the ball like that, then they won't miss Raya one bit. More great defensive work there from Billing and pressing the man on Rico Henry. Rico Henry still on the ball, puts it in, Spinetti heads it away, and then Cook flicks it on to Private Slips. Oh, is that Hickey? Yes, it's me trying to remember who their right wing back is. Hickey pushes forward, takes a shot. I think it's probably going miles wide. Takes a deflection, takes a pace off it, and just falls straight into Neko's arms. Lovely work from Ryan Christie on the right hand side. Semenyo in acres of space. Kirk is proper bombing on. That's it. Play it into him. Kirk is still going. And he kind of almost slips, but keeps hold of the ball. Plays it back to Semenyo. Needs someone on the left hand side again now. That was good, but I think Kirkis could have just pushed on and tried to take a shot. Senesi with a lovely ball over to the right hand side for Billing. And Christie there with Billing. Right, now the game has just slowed. I think Bournemouth needs to speed things up a little bit in those situations. Thank you very much for everyone joining us. We are 40 minutes in now. 36 of you there. Can you please make sure that you do me a favor and give this video a like if you are enjoying it? It does help in the algorithm. Senesi playing a ball in over the top, just a little bit too far. for Solanke. But if Senesi is our chief creator in this side, there is a problem with our midfield. Um, yeah, that strike from Hickey was going wide. Got a little bit lucky with the deflection. Wing, irate Ryan Christie, highly great engine on his run and skill ignites life into him. Things like that. No, you don't appreciate for football, man. No, I totally agree that I think his run through three players in the box absolutely changed things in terms of it gave the team a spark. Pun unintended. But ooh, it can make things almost getting the block there. But if he's not scoring and assisting, he's not achieving the most important part of his game. He can do a lot of other things, and his work rate is something that Iraola, I said from the start. Again, you look back to a video that I made before the season started, and I said Christie was a nailed-on starter under Iraola because of his work rate, entirely because of how much he will work and run and not stop. But that only gets you so far in a football game, and we need to see just a little bit more from him because he does so much else. And you're not the first person, as Wing, as I'm sure you're well aware, maybe you were and other people followed you, to say that if Christie could actually score or assist, we wouldn't have him. He needs to do more. Yeah, those two just need to start combining more. But obviously, we'll see who starts playing on the left wing as well, because a lot of people are saying Sinisterra will start over Clivert. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, well, I mean, he's a natural leader in this time. He really is. Well, I kind of would like to say quarterback. True, but you need it up to a certain point. It's fair enough if the centre backs are playing a lot of the long balls, which is great, but you need, in that case, you need the wingers or the fullbacks to provide the assists for the striker. And one long ball over the top got Solanke in, which was great, and that's one method. You can't rely on that in a whole season. Brentford pushing forward, and Buemo on the right hand side, getting into the box, comes off Kirkes. That could have come off his arm, but I think it was close enough to his body that it should be given as a handball. No one claiming it as well. So I really hope that VAR doesn't get involved there unnecessarily, because the Brentford players weren't claiming a penalty there. Kirkes with a long ball up to Solanke, who wins the throw-in. No, VAR not involved, probably. Yeah, no one near. And Buemo wasn't claiming for it either. Keith saying I just see Christie as an 8, not a 10. Yeah, if he had the final product numbers, he'd be a 10. But at the moment, he's probably better as an 8. I don't know which tackle you're talking about. Maybe I missed it. He scored that. He is a great number 10. Like, one goal does not make the man. It's just like a swallow doesn't make a summer. It's about consistency. The great players are consistently good all the time. Christie has a lot of numbers that make him consistently physically impressive and a great player, but it doesn't make him clinical. Lovely ball over the top from Billing to Kirkes, who puts the ball in the box. It's just behind Solanke. Oh, Semenyo with a chance. No! Oh, dear. Semenyo couldn't have done better with that. So, ball over the top, ball in from Kirkes from the left-hand side. It's behind Solanke, but Semenyo's on rushing. Defender swipes it up in the air. Solanke prevents the keeper from getting his hands on it. He punches it straight to Semenyo. Semenyo headers it back at goal. He heads it down. And the keeper can save it with his legs easily. Semenyo needs to head that around the keeper past him. More great work from Billing. That is why I like him in the double pivot, because he is so good at doing everything. More fantastic defensive work from Philip Billing. Shirtline was, shirtline, whatever. If the ball's hitting your arm about here, even here, and it's down by your side, I don't want that to be a penalty, even if it's for us. I just don't agree with many aspects of where we are at the moment in the handball rule, which is unfortunately a subjectivity that you cannot remove from the game, but you can try and advise it better. Um, sometimes a goal turned into a run. Oh, right, I see, and a good season turns career. Yeah, I'm not I'm not denying that at all, and like I said, we're both agreeing with the same thing here. One goal doesn't mean anything. You're talking about it could send him on a run. Yes, that run could turn into something great, but the thing is that look at Miguel Almiron, a player that was massively maligned at Newcastle, gets on the start of a great run, has half a season of fantastic goal scoring. The second half was nowhere near what the first half was. He barely scored in the second half of the season, and so far, I don't think he's got a goal or an assist for Newcastle in his first 3 games. So you can get on a run, but is it necessarily going to then become how good you are, or is it always going to be seen as that purple patch you once had? And Christie has shown, even if he has a purple patch, it doesn't mean anything in terms for his general all-round play for him to become the full package. It just means he had those good 6 months, just like what we can say about Almiron. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, this is all hypothetical because at the moment, Christie hasn't done that. And until he does, we won't be able to know whether it is him becoming what he always was meant to be or whether it will be that purple patch of a few games. But yeah, it is massively a confidence game. We were talking about Kelly at the start of this game. See, Kelly at the start of this stream. Only need to look at Lloyd Kelly. Um, Phil, I agree. Massively grown into the game. Uh, definitely got our physicality back under what took 10 minutes. I think it was probably relatively even without really anything happening in the first 7 to 10 minutes. But the but but the goal shook us. The goal shook us, and it took a while for us to really sort of pick ourselves back up again. And it was, as Wing has mentioned, it was Christie's run that really kicked it going. I don't know what in particular that was, but it's just that thing that changes the momentum in a match. Agree, John. He has evolved from 2 years ago, and I prefer him like Christie played the box for. Yeah, I totally prefer Billing in the 8 and Christie in the 10. I'll keep putting you back to the videos that I've made. My starting 11 for this season had Christie in the 10 and Billing in the 8. And while they have swapped places at times this season already, I do think this is the best version of those two. Even if Christie doesn't necessarily get the numbers and Billing has the better attacking numbers, I think Billing is also better defensively. So I want Billing to be more involved all over the pitch. I agree, Phil. That is half time. Oh, when did I remove this? Why did I remove that banner? I removed that by accident. Um, Apologies for that. I didn't mean to remove that banner. It is now half time, and we're currently on the scoreline that I predicted. Um, so don't worry. When it's 2-2, you can all be like, oh, well, it kind of worked out in the end. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep going through these comments. I'm loving the interactivity. Please keep the comments coming. This is fantastic. Thank you for being so active in the chat. I love talking with these people. It's fun and all watching the game, and I miss parts of it because I'm talking with you. But I do these watch-alongs so that I can chat with you because I really do enjoy talking about this. I'm narcissistic enough to just stand on camera, sit on camera, and talk about Bournemouth for 3 hours. But to do that, I need people to ask me questions and get involved in the chat. So thank you very much for being involved. Even if like this is you were telling people that, and even he has lean spells when confidence was void. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'm disagreeing with you much, Wink. To be fair, just occasionally, just slightly different, nuanced points of the same argument. For the most part, you just have confidence that Christie will become that player, and I'm just saying once he's done it, I will agree with you. But he still just has more to come, I think, before he really shows that he will be that player. Starting to see more of it, definitely. That goal from Solanke, that ball from the centre back around and over the top, that's a very Iraola ball pass from the centre back. And then Solanke made a mess out of Ben Mee and Flecken and scored fantastically. Phil Bill, our best player so far. Probably. Him or Senesi, I would say. Sean, looking like score positions on. Good stuff. Just roll back to 90s. Our advice was, did the arm substantially alter the path of the ball? The whole rubbish about deliberate or not? I confused you. Yeah, exactly. But it should never be a thing of deliberate or not. You know if it's deliberate, therefore it's a foul. If it's not deliberate, you need to have a sort of a more substantial idea of what's okay and what's not. And right now, that line has shifted too far in one direction. John, all the way from America. Almiron is my guy, but truth is truth. Sorry, didn't mean to pull that down. Wing, I like what our team pattern do now, and I think we'll be great at chaotic football and cause havoc in opposition penalty boxes. That's the hope. That's very definitely the hope. Making handball an indirect free kick might make penalty box decisions easier to both give and accept. I think the bounds of what is because that I think is a separate issue. A penalty should not be given for a foul in the penalty box. You need to do what hockey do. You need to have a circular area within the penalty box. Maybe a slightly narrower, maybe make it just narrow. Basically, if the foul is within the confines of the 6-yard box, or maybe make it slightly more rounded, then give a penalty. If it's sort of like within 18 yards, but only within a certain space within the penalty box, then turn it into a penalty. Because right now, if you're clipped right in the corner of the box, just like Soboslai was, it turns what might have been a cross into a 4-in-5 goal. And that punishment doesn't fit the crime. It's antiquated rules that need changing. The punishment there does not fit the crime. What is and isn't, what leads to a penalty and where a penalty is given must be changed. It just has to be. Phil's been a physical monster today. Maybe he's starting to get more than the 10 now. We'll see. I think I'm converting a few people, or at least, I mean, Philip Billing is proving my point, but I think he has been very good. Was Finland starting off 20 minutes? Feels like anyone's game now. Absolutely. Roughly 20 minutes there. Come back into it though. For the second half. Good stuff. Why do you think Clive as journeyman what makes a player like this? That he doesn't quite fit in at whichever club he goes to, and he's just had a lot of loans. He's got a lot of talent. Okay, so here's the go. He has a lot of talent, unarguable. Has he proved it where he's gone? No. And that's why they haven't kept him. He was bought by Roma because they really wanted him. But then when he wasn't proving it in a season, they said, right, you're still young, go and prove it elsewhere. And he's going to 3 other places and he hasn't proved it yet. But we know that there's something in there because he's 24 and he's got a lot of talent. So we're just waiting for him to hit it. That's what's make a young journeyman in that regard. But then you get to people like Steve Claridge and it's just sort of like, I don't know why he was a journeyman. I really don't. Steve Claridge, the shame we don't see much more of Steve Claridge on the telly anymore. The iconic journeyman, the peak journeyman is Steve Claridge. The older heads in this chat. Is Steve Claridge peak journeyman? And if he's not, who's peak journeyman? Phil, going back to their goal, it was reported that Tommy Elphick. Oh, Tommy Elphick. That's not good. It's rather silly from him. Much better in the last quarter. Just let's see a bit more chaos in the final. Yes, less control, more chaos. Yes, I haven't really noticed him, which means he's had a good game. That's one of those things. If you don't notice the number 6, he's probably had a good game. He's made I have noticed a few times where he's given the ball away or made a little bit of a minor mistake, but I think generally he's had a good game. Kirkers and Cliver look good as much. I haven't seen them combine that much this game. Again, bear in mind, I need to consider, like, I'm staring at this screen a lot when the game's on that screen, so I am sort of missing bits. But I haven't seen massive combinations between the two. I think it has worked to an extent, but I need to see more bombing on from Kirkes, and then Clive and Kirkes actually passing the ball to each other a bit. But I think they both have the what is needed to make a good partnership. Why did Madley take so long to give that goal? The watch didn't vibrate quickly. Whatever, it was the delay. Can you put stats? I will in a second. I've got so many comments flooding in that I'm missing out. Yeah, hope so. Partnerships down the flank. Yes, absolutely. Everywhere on the pitch. 2 centre backs, 2 wingers, 2 winger and fullback, central midfielders, and the 2 strikers. everything about Eddie's team was partnerships. The 3 down the middle and the 2 on the sides, it was all partnerships, and it was glorious. To be fair, Valencia are asking absolutely. Italian clubs often have very long contracts and some players absolutely momentum when they're up. Oh, there you go. Oh. Steve Claridge played his first and 1000th league game for the same club, and it was, oh, right, really? Claridge was Mr. Journeyman. So much better than the experts. Oh, thank you very much, Ian. Claridge. Oh, was Sheringham? Was Sheringham really? I mean, he wasn't as much of one, but he did move about a bit. I'll grant it. I'm not as familiar with Sheringham's career, but given Claridge was the EFL expert for a while on our screens, I'm much more familiar with him. Sean O'Driscoll was with us for a decent bit, wasn't he? I mean, as a manager, he was obviously there for ages. Anyway, right. I'm going to take a very quick break because I'm going to need the loo before we get to the second half, and then I'll keep chatting away with you guys. But for now, let's just go for a quick break, and I will be back shortly. Rightio, we're back. I haven't still got the music on, have I? No, I don't. Good stuff. So, let me just have another quick catch up on some of these comments. Aaron's was great defensively doing off going forward from LA. Aaron still has more to do going forward, and I think that's possibly partly to do with fitness at the moment. And while he wasn't combative enough for Sade's really good opportunity, he then made up for it seconds later or a couple of minutes later with more aggressiveness, and I want to see that from him. So that was good. But I agree. I think he could do more going forward. Bob English is issuing his controversial decision against the Sugs. Well, I wouldn't put it past some of these referees. Scott Dango and Town will quit much more in the future. Yep, undoubtedly. Keefe chatting with Ben. Michael, yep, I think that has been promising. I think there's more to come, but I think it has been promising. Hopefully, Brooks and Tab will quit much more in the second half, if and when they come on. I'm guessing that's meant to be intense pressure or interesting pressure. And Gold it with Sund. I'm gonna need you to retype that one out, Michael. Unfortunately. Not about. I think Tab might go in the wingback role. I mean, we'll see. Right, there was a request for stats. Let me bring up Sofa Score, and we'll have a look and see what they're showing at the moment. Now, can I scroll this in a little bit further to make this better for everyone? There we go. The Momentum bar tells quite the picture. I think a lot of us would say that we were probably much more positive from about the quarter mark onwards, where we did start to get some larger footholds in the game. And obviously, our goal was here when we were when we were at our most dominant. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of success that Brentford have had in gaining territory and really being the team in the ascendancy. So we've got to sort of try and nullify those moments as much as possible. And we sort of started to in the second quarter. Um, Brentford didn't show quite the domineering moments that they did in the first sort of like in the sort of 10 to 20 minute period. But yeah, we've got to be doing a little bit better during the second half. As for there we go, scrolling in and out messes with this sometimes. So statistically, expected goals, we are slightly leading, which is nice, which is much nicer to hear than what we have done in the recent games. Ball possession has actually dominated. Brentford have had more possession, which actually surprises me a little bit. But again, I haven't been fully focused on the game. We've had more shots on target, fewer shots off target, more block shots, but it's relatively even. You can definitely. Corner kicks is 1-0 to Brentford. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't put any bets on today. Well, never mind. We fouled more, but I think we've only got the one yellow card. Was it the one yellow card? Where's yellow cards? Why is that not showing up? Did I miss that? Don't know why it's not showing yellow cards. Maybe there wasn't any. Maybe there's zero yellow cards, which is good, even though we've produced so many fouls. Throws, goal kicks, 2 big chances each, both missed. What was our 2 big chances? Semenyo's header, probably, and then Christie's run. Will they have counted that as a big chance? Because he didn't shoot. So I don't know whether they maybe. Oh, they might have counted that as a big chance. Now I'm interested. What were the big chances for us? Semenyo's header and Solanke 19 minutes in. I'm not remembering that one. Mob is telling me what the chances were, but I think the teams are coming back out, so I'll just have a look more at this. The increase in counter-attacks is great. The fact that we're restricting Brentford to not... Well, I think this is false because I think they definitely will. One of their chances should have been treated as a counter. But the fact that we're statistically showing up with counters is great. Brentford have been more pass heavy. 6 crosses, none successful. Very bad. Needs to be improved. Some good dribble numbers. Good tackle numbers. Yeah, interesting. As for players, what are they showing up with? Where's the where are we? So our strongest performers so far are Ryan Christie, who's got very good pass accuracy, one key pass, 1 big chance created, good dribbling, showing up quite nicely statistically. And that's it in terms of over 7, as opposed to Jensen and Norgard and Hickey Flecken. Flecken's had to do more, so he shows up quite well in that regard. Right, let me just shift back because I'm fairly certain the game has kicked off. Yes, it has. I'll get back to your comments in a second. One, second half. Right, let me have a look at some of your comments. Health, high intensity points. And keep the pressure with. Is that meant to be Sinistera? Because he's not involved. He's in the stands. In the second half, and Brentford will lose. Oh dear! Big mistake from Zabani. Brentford players in the box. Got to be a goal. How on earth has Mbeumo missed that? That's the best chance of the match, and Mbuemo has fired it wide. Who's made the mistake here? I have a feeling it's probably Zabani with a very stupid mistake. What are you doing there, man? Who is that? Or is that Senesi? No, that's Senesi. That's awful. That is. I don't. I need to see that back live to understand why Senesi's at right centre back. But he tries to flick the ball out with his left foot, completely mucks it up, and we should be 2-1 down. We should instantly be 2-1 down. I don't know how we haven't conceded there. I have no idea how we haven't conceded there. Um, 3 points are very definitely still got that option. Oh yeah, Neto needs a baseball cap. Brentford are all over us at the start of this half, thanks to our own mistakes. Sharda on the left hand side going up against Aarons, puts a ball into the box. Free header. Aarons doesn't get close enough to him there. He said this is a huge weakness that Bournemouth have suffered for well over half a decade. The fullbacks do not do well enough at blocking crosses. They just don't, and it's very, very frustrating. Charlie Daniels was terrible at that. Adam Smith got better over the years. That was poor from Aarons. Right. Yeah, Brentford came up with a rocket up the backside. All forward from Aarons to Solanke. Solanke tries to put the ball in the box, but no one's really in there. Shot from Christie with his right foot, and tipped wide by Flecken. So nice to see that Christie willing to take a shot with his right foot. In this instance, Solanke runs into the just about to the byline, looks to cross the ball in the box. No one was in. No one was in the penalty area. And a trademark of Iraola ball is that whoever it is that gets to the byline, there's going to be 2 or 3 players in the box to put the ball in the back of the net. And there wasn't anyone. Clivert just about got in the box when the cross came in. Christie was lucky enough that the ball fell to him, but needs Christie to be more central. Need Clivert to get in the box quicker there. Cross a corner taken short. Cook gets the ball back, puts the cross in near the back post, headed back out for a corner. That didn't work out too badly. That was the best cross from a corner that we've had for 3 games. It's those mistakes that could cost him a big move. Yeah, that was so weird. He just didn't need to do it, and he messed that up completely. Yeah, as I mentioned, he got there, he put the cross in, no one there to really. Got lucky that it even fell to Christie for him to shoot. It was a Senesi mistake, yeah, but Zab did get back quite nicely. Terrible call, Phil Billing, and then crossed it in with his right foot there. Aaron stumps it forwards. I don't know what he's trying to do there. Just chill. Hmm. Anyway, I love the co-commentator there saying, "Why is Billing taking the corner? He's the tallest player. He should be in the box. Get others to take it." Mate, if you had seen us with our corners, you'd want anyone other than the people that were taking them to be on it, and Billing is one of those options. Good work there. Aaron's pushing up the right-hand side. Definitely taken out by Sharda there. Good work from Aaron's getting forward. Yet another fantastic tackle from Kirkaz. Kirkaz has shown up. Oh, no, it wasn't. Was it? Did Max Aarons just get himself booked for doing a whole give him a yellow thing? Fine him 2 weeks' wages. Fine him a month's wages. I can't stand that in the first place. But now you know that you will get booked if you do that. So why do it? Fine him 2 weeks' wages. You won't do it again. If he does it again, fine him a month's wages. I just think I cannot stand it when people do things like that, particularly when they are well aware that they will get punished for it. Flipping mind numbing. He'd already got the foul. We've got a freaking free kick. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. Lewis Cook over the ball. Flats or everyone. Kirkus tries. Solanke goes for the flick, and then no, it's cleared. I'm not sure quite how, but it's cleared. And now Wemo is on the ball on the left hand side. Very good work there. That is a foul. Christie does a lot of great work there, but when he falls over, he kind of brings down Mbuemo, which means that it is a foul. But quite rightly, no yellow card because Cook gets in a good tackle there, but Christie on the floor then kicks. Yeah, it's a foul. It's a shame because it was a good tackle by Cook. That wasn't the foul. It was Mbuemo getting taken down by Christie when he didn't really mean it. That was the foul. Shada on the overlap. Let's push forward to the byline. Puts the ball in, but no one's there to meet it, and it gets to the far side, where Cliver has just pushed over Hickey, and somehow didn't get a foul given against him. That's one of the easiest fouls you could possibly give, and we got away with it. Ball played long, attempting to get it to Solanke, but just wasn't the right choice at the time and wasn't executed well enough. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a bit of a prick, but the Brentford manager is fair to say that that was definitely a foul. It should have been given, but it wasn't. Semenyo has been pretty darn absent from this game. Just then, he takes the ball, drives forward, gets surrounded by three players, and just gives it to them instead of playing a part. Well, Semenyo has had good games and has done some good things. I think he hasn't really shown anything this match so far. Ooh, Zabani is lucky there. Zabani lets Visser get the ball there. And I think he's very lucky that that's not given against him, that he's kind of dragged down Visser. I think physically it's looked shoulder to shoulder a lot, but at the last second he has to be pushing because Visser's far faster than him. Have we actually got anyone that can take him on a Sean? No comment. Kirk is only so far. Yeah, we did a video on this channel, Keith, on Thursday. We're talking about our window, and we rated Kirkes as our signing of the window. End-to-end stuff at the moment, yeah, which is needed a call there, could have prevented a corner and could have Neto playing that. Yeah, Roy, end-to-end stuff is what Iraola wants us to become, I feel, and make the most of that. But end-to-end stuff suits Brentford far more than it does us at the moment because we're in the early stages of our new tactics and setup. It's a speed Niels gets up after sliding in. He never takes himself out of the game. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Aarons has also put in a decent slide tackle so far, but I think Kirkes just has a way with it in the tackle. Yeah, where's Stanislas? Absolutely. He's the last great one that we had. Right. Keep pressing up. Winning the ball back in the opposition third, which is good. Solanke on the ball on the right wing. Waiting for the easy option to Christie. Plays it backwards to Senesi. Billing 1-2 back to Senesi. Christie turns on it, passes it to Aarons. Oh, sorry, that was Zabani. Now Aarons is on the ball. Back to Zabani. Back to Senesi. No, that was Cook. I got confused that Cook was playing at right centre back there. Kirkes is on the left. I'll remember that. No, Kirkes is on the left. Plays it forward to Cliver, who keeps hold of the ball under pressure from Hickey. Does well there. Plays it back to Senesi, to Barney, to then Senesi. It's confusing me a little bit. Plays it forward. Decent touch from Cliver. Semenyo takes it, tries to shoot, but got to be a corner. Ref, that's a corner. How have you not given a corner for that, ref? Yeah, there's some good rotations there. Cliver tries to chest it. Semenyo almost gets taken out there, but the defender Pinnock does well to not kick him. And okay, actually, yeah, it probably was a goal kick. Oh, sorry, it wasn't a knock at you, Keith, at all. You can't watch everything we put out. I don't expect anyone to watch everything put out. But sorry to hear you're feeling poorly. I didn't focus on the chat that you and Ben had been having over the comments, but I hope you get better soon. Obviously, I'm very thrilled to have you joining us for this watch along. Yeah, I'm not going to focus on that comment. I think myself as not superstitious, and I talk about jinxes all the time. That is also what I would be doing as well. Or Tavernier. Either Brooks or Tavernier, one or the other. We need someone to replace the menu at the moment. He's not been involved enough in the match. Some nice combinations there between Billing and Kirkes. Billing shoots with the right foot over. That was close. Some much better, nice little interplay between some of these players. That in that particular instance, that was between Billing and Kirkes. Billing ends up on his right foot 22 yards out and just over the top. Keeper doesn't quite have to get it over. Oh, that's a worry. There's some really nice interplay there from Brentford, which gets Visser in. Sorry, it was into Visser, who shoots and hits the post. So I'm getting Mbeumo and Visser mixed up there. Some really nice interplay on the left-hand side. Aarons tries to do too much and takes on Sharda, loses out, and then he's out of position when the ball is played forward to Visser, who bounces it to Mbeumo, plays a lovely pass in between Senesi and Zabani. Senesi falls over. Visser's got all the time he wants to take a shot, and with his left foot, he's sliding and slipping because Zabani does really well to put him under pressure. I thought he had more time, but no, Zabani's sliding in, and then Visser slides, shoot, and hits the post. I don't know how we're not losing this game. I really don't know how Brentford haven't gone 2-1 up in this game. I really don't. Lovely pass there from Cliver into Christie in loads of space, but Christie takes 2 touches and loses the ball too easily. Cliver pressing Hickey well. That's a little bit generous with the foul, I think, but there we go. Brooks is on for Semenyo. You called it, Ben. There you go. You got your wish. We're just about to hit 60 minutes. So if you had Semenyo in your fantasy team, unfortunately that means he only got 1 point for you. But yeah, half an hour. 1-1. We're in a really good position. We would still take a draw from this game, but we have the opportunity to go for more. Brooks immediately gets in the way of a pass, puts it out for a throw. Brooks obviously fresh from getting his first goal since his diagnosis and remission. Let's hope he can add to that. A long ball forwards. Zabani forced to put out for a throw, which is good because I don't want him messing that up like Senesi almost did. Yep, good call from Ben, and yeah, wishing Brooksy to make the difference here, which he definitely can do. Is that a towel? I thought those were banned. No, it's EFL only. I think they're banned, but it's weird that they're not in the Prem. Yeah, as I mentioned, I don't know how this is 2-1. How this isn't 2-1. Big throw, flick on from Pinnock, headed away, and then Billing clears to not even halfway line. Cook pressing Hickey very nicely. The keeper's miles out. Great pressing from Cookie. Gurkes heads the ball out. Very good point, Ben. I mean, if you can't see that sponsor from the telly, I don't think it's as well. To be fair, shirt sponsors you can't see when it's zoomed out as well. Um, yes, Ian. I do think that here's what I would say to that. I think every game has been has shown slow improvements. I think the Liverpool game was probably better than the West Ham game, and I think the Spurs game had a lot of things I think that were better. Had a number of things, not fully. I think the Tottenham game and Liverpool game were roughly close in terms of showing what the players can do and sort of improving that style of Iraola. So things have slowly moved on. There will come a point, and as I mentioned, I think it's the start of October, where well, at least that was better isn't good enough anymore. Right now, it is. Regardless of the result, I think you can say that we have still continued to improve. We are still showing great signs. But at some point, there's a line at which we all draw and say, okay, that's nice and all. Where are the results? We're not at that point yet. But I think a point here would still be really good regardless. Obviously, you're saying that if we lose, there are still positives, and I agree there are. But I think when it's 1-1 with half an hour ago away from home, the one thing you don't do is lose the game. Uh, something like that. We've got Keith and Wing agreeing with you. I said I do as well. I just think that there was a point at which that was still good, though, wasn't it? Isn't good enough anymore. And I don't think we'll hit that for another month, but we will at some point. To be fair, with Christie Chance, etc., I don't know how we haven't scored more as well. I think it's been relatively even in that. I think Christie is the only one that you can talk about in that regard. Whereas Brentford hit the post 3 times now. Sharda, Visser, no, they didn't hit the post. Mbuemo's chance within 2 minutes of the restart. Mbuemo's chance, Visser hitting the post, and Sharda hitting the post. And Neto's now got a card. I tell you what, Neto is just annoying me more and more. Why is he time wasting? Why is he taking so long to take a free? Neto's got a card for not taking too long to take a free kick. Like, he's the captain. He is the most experienced player on the pitch for Bournemouth. Are you going to learn to not the stupid mistakes that you've been making? Totally unnecessary yellow card for Neto, and that's his second one. The other one that he got was just shouting at the referee for 30 seconds when for the Liverpool throw. Another completely needless yellow card that he was always going to get a yellow card for. I'm surprised in that when he was talking in the referee's face for that Liverpool penalty for a good 20 to 30 seconds. After 10 seconds, I'm thinking, wow, he's lucky he hasn't got a yellow yet. And then he kept talking. He kept talking. He kept shouting in the guy's face. And he's like, what is that point? I disagree with you. I think Radu is better competition. Or at least Radu has come in with the intent of taking Neto's shirt off him, which I don't think Travers had I don't think Travers was there with any real confidence that he was going to take the shirt off Neto. Radu has come in pretty much desperate to rip the shirt off Neto's back. And I think that Radu could come in before you know it. Because if Neto keeps doing these really stupid things and making mistakes like that, he won't stay in the team for very much longer. You can't keep him in the team for very much longer. Yep, absolutely. But obviously, you never know when some of those teams are getting injured. I'm just saying that even when those teams come back, they need the chance to gel as well. And eventually, there aren't any sort of there aren't silver linings are great when you're playing these kind of games really early on in the season. But at the end of the day, it's points that matter. It doesn't matter. Say, well, we were great. We lost, but we were great. That doesn't doesn't put food on the table for these. Well, actually, no, the contract already does. It doesn't keep us in the prem. Um, I do think he needs to. Yeah, he needs to definitely be better. I think Randolph is comfortable knowing he's third choice. He's you need three keepers. I think he's comfortable picking up that packet. Um, I mean, to be fair, he's got Alexandra Burke as the wife. I think he's kind of all set in life now. Um, right, 67 minutes on the clock. More great work from Aaron's dealing with Sharda, and now he's going on a run. Thank you. Can you focus on the actual action rather than looking at Sharda when he's off the pitch? I just producers of football matches just annoy me so much. Clivert getting a foul given against him. I have a feeling we may see Clivert changed at some point soon. He's been less effective in this second half. He's worked hard. I think I have liked the effort. Um, I have liked the significant effort that Clivert has put into this game. He's worked. His hard work has come across to me far more in this game than it has in any of the other ones that he's played. But I also think he hasn't really been involved enough going forward in this match. Oh, that's great work from Clivert. After me talking about that hard work, he just absolutely dominates Jensen in that little battle, which should not be happening. Jensen should be winning that one out. But and then Jensen gets a yellow card for it. Very good from Clivert. Very good from Clivert. Okay, now Iriola has just done that and got himself a yellow card. Now Iriola needs to be fined 2 weeks' wages. I know he's Spanish, and without meaning to sound racist, it's given that Max Aarons, who is English, also did it, but you do tend to find that a lot more from the Spaniards and the Portuguese and a lot of the South Americans. They do that a lot more than the English do, but um, he needs to not do that ever again. I mean, it's not humble pie because I did say that his hard work has been great. He just hasn't been involved enough going forward, which he hasn't. But his hard work has been very evident to me, and that just summed it up. That he went one on one with Jensen there and came out the winner, got a yellow card for the guy because of how well he beat him there. But it would be humble pie if he suddenly scored, in which case, massive, massive humble pie, or got an assist of some description. All over the top to Cliver. Pinnock comes across and covers it. But Kirkes does get it back, tries to put it through to Billing, but no, it doesn't work out. And Tavernier. Okay, I did say it would be if we're losing, which is false in this case because we are drawing. But I said 20 minutes for Tavernier, and it's just hit 70. So, to be fair, I've called that bang on. And I also said I thought Cliver would be coming off soon, and it's Cliver that's made way. The ironic self-celebration. I called both bits of that correctly. What was that comment before about you don't get the professional pundits talking the way I'm doing and giving that kind of analysis. You also don't get the co-commentators going, called it. I said exactly that. Aren't I great? Yeah, definitely my call. All good. Is that Is that Luton's ex-manager on in the stands next to Neil Maupay? What was Luton's? What the flipping Luton and Southampton's ex-manager, the guy that got 9 matches at Southampton last season, the Welshman. What was his name again? That was him up in the stands next to Maupay. What job is he doing now? Oh, almost a good attempt there from Solanke to get past Pinnock, but some really good work there. That's got to be a card for Christie. Nathan Jones, that was it. That was Nathan Jones in the stand next to Neil Maupay. What is he? What's his job now? Has he got taken on by? He got taken on uh, by his current position. No, I think he's just got a ticket, and I think he's just got a ticket to the game, and just happens to be sat next to Neil Maupay. Don't know why. Oh no, Senesi, you fell asleep. No. Oh god, that was worrying. The player that's just come on the pitch for Brentford, Onyeka, is on the floor, and Senesi just assumes that the ball's going to go out or whatever, or things are going to be dealt with, and just allows a pass to be played in behind him, and we almost suffered because of it. A total lapse in concentration from Senesi. Completely unnecessary. Kick the ball against him, and the ball goes out, and it's a goal kick. Why just stand there waiting for the guy to get back up? So weird. Anyway, Brentford have got a corner. Brooks manages to prevent anything and puts the ball out. Ball comes into the box. Lobbed up. Free header. Save. Good save. Free header again. Completely free header. How does that keep happening? Every time. Shot from Onyeka goes straight to the keeper. It's unbelievable that Brentford managed to have a completely free header in this situation. And it's like, it's 6 yards out. It's like 6, 7, 8 yards out. It's really close to the goal. And it's a completely free header, totally unchallenged. Why are we so bad at dealing with this? I don't get it. Why are we so bad at this? Well, it's the fact that we've had 2.5 months, and we had a whole 12 months before that, Keith. It's not like it's new to this season. We just need to be even worse at it this season. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. It happened every match. It happened a lot against Saints, and we were lucky we didn't concede more than 2 corners against Spurs. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen then as well. Hickey runs forward with the ball. Brentford have it in the box now, crossed, and then Wissa completely messes that up and ends up going behind him. Poor pass from Brooks, we lose out. Brentford back on the ball. Brentford are a little bit on top of us at the moment. This on the ball just outside the box, plays it to Mbeumo on the right hand side. Curtis needs to close him down. He plays it through to Onyeka, who shoots, and it's off the post again. The ball is just fired across from Onyeka, and it bounces off. Oh god, the youngster that's just come on from Hull. Forgotten his name. Is he offside? Oh, he would have been offside. It would have been offside. But the ball bounces off his chest and flies onto the opposite post. He would have been offside, which means that the offside should be given, but they have a throw now. The ball went out for their throw, even though it should be an offside. Big throw, headed out nicely. At least we've dealt with the long throws better, but the corners generally have been terrible. Ball pass, and now we have an opportunity to counter if we have enough pace. And we do in Tavernier, but unfortunately, Rico Henry. Oh, he's giving it away to Tavernier. 1-on-1. Plays it through to Christie, who has to score. Brooks. Yes! 2-1. Come on. Oh, Rico Henry, massive mistake. Tavernier comes on and assists. What is it about Tavernier? What is it about Tavernier? And that was really nice counter. But yeah, I called Christie when it was Brooks, but in the moment it was difficult to tell. Poor mistake from Brentford in the first place to give the ball away on the edge of our box. I think that's Christie comes away with the ball, plays a nice ball through to Tavernier, but Henry gets in the way, tries to play it back to the keeper, massively messes it up. It's a 2-on-1. He passes it to Brooks, and then Brooks just cheekily sort of dummies it back inside onto his left foot and fires it into the back of the net. So pleased for David Brooks. So pleased for David Brooks. Oh, what a brilliant! This would be such an um, absolutely correct there from Keith. It would be something of a smash and grab, but we have 13 minutes plus stoppage time still to go. Sammy's desperate for one more so that she gets her 3-1. Yep, great stuff from Brooksy, but just great counter attack all around. Yeah, there was about the corners. 5 managers haven't been able to improve it. Ian was holding himself back, I think, from celebrating, maybe, allowing me to see the goal first. TC, Brooks, wing, goal, Bradley, yes, wing, Brooksy, Bradley, Tavernier, and Real. Well, he's done nothing but provide an assist now. Then so cool from Brooksy side. Yeah, very, very nice from Brooks. I was just, particularly if it was Christie, my brain was going, oh God, don't mess this up, please score. And then obviously Brooks just so cool. Yeah, one from Christie. Oh, have you, oh yeah, you said Solanke and Brooks and you went with Christie as well, didn't you? Yeah, John, nice one. Get in from Archie. Yes. David Brooks, David Brooks. Na, 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 na. David Brooks, David Brooks, David Brooks. So, 78 and a half minutes gone. Brentford are about to make 2 more changes. Brentford's manager's got his little tactics board out and messing around with it on the. Why am I blanking on Brentford's manager's name? Frank. It was Frank. Frank's got a little tactics board and he's messing around with his things. You think he'd do that in his head, or just like, or he'd know what he wants to do, but it's a bit you can't. Yeah. Well, Kirkes was good work on the rest. Puts the ball in the box, but it's cleared by Pinnock. It's not the greatest cross. 4 touch from Aarons. Not won by Sinesky, but Zavani covers nicely, or at least he should have done. Zavani completely messes that one up, and then we managed to get away with getting the throw. Zavani only has to whack that up the pitch. Why is he taking a touch with his header to run onto it? That's weird. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Sean. I completely forgot to change the score. Absolutely correct. Uh, um, it was pretty much his house. Yeah, yeah, tapping his watch. That's like, to be honest, I don't get if Brentford fans ever do that in my face to taunt me. It's fair play to them, but I still think that's one of the one of the most childish things I've ever seen a manager do in my life. 10 minutes into a game, you're 2-0 down on aggregate, and every time the ball goes out, immediately doing this. Just oh, I can't stand him. Cannot stand. As a person, I can't stand Thomas Frank. As a manager, I really rate him. Oh, Bournemouth pressing on. Billing to Brooks. Oh, just wide. Ooh. That German was supposed to be coming out here. Someone's been always taking a chance standing in the sun. Oh, really? Who knows then? Fingers crossed. Absolutely. And Brooks very close. So that's yeah, Brooksy close. Ben Knee coming off for Nathan Collins. But Jensen and Hickett triple sub with 9 minutes to go plus stoppages. You've got Collins, Aya, and Ola Kigbe. I'm not familiar with Ola Kigbe, but that is definitely a switch to a back three. He's put on two centre backs and taken off his fullback. So he's switching and put on a centre back with, I'm assuming, two attackers. That's almost definitely a switch to a back three. Great work there from Senesi pushing up. Cook winning the ball. Cook with an underrated performance. Nice ball there from Kirkes to Christie. Christie trying to get it back to Kirkes. Maybe should have played a different ball there. We don't need to push up this much either. Being a little bit too aggressive there, I think. Great work there, hounding Henry there from Aarons. Need the midfielders to make sure they're coming back here now. Good header from Zabani through to Billing. He loses the ball, and it's a Brentford throw. 8 minutes to go. And Buomo on the right wing, pushing forward. I overlapped on him. Great work from Tavernier tracking him. And Buomo puts the ball into the box. Well headed out. Also Norgard. Over the right to Buomo, who misjudges it but does keep the ball in. Kirkos up against him. Gets beaten. Kirkos tapped Aya, puts on target, but it is saved straight down the keeper's throat. If we, I need Tavernier to get more onto the left hand side there because Kirkes needs to help because they'll be doubled up on. They'll double up on those wings now. For the rest of the game, they will double up on the wings and just fire the ball into the box. So we need Brooks and Aarons to do really hard work on the right hand side, and we need Kirkes and Tavernier to combine well on the left hand side to really help deal with those long balls. Kirkes went down, apparently needing help with cramp. I have a feeling that maybe that was a good time wasting tactic because the ball didn't go out. So I have a feeling that the ball may have been thrown out, and we'll probably get that back. Tommy Elphick's still in. Tommy Elphick was just there with Iraola. If he did get sent off, he hasn't left the technical area. Aaron's beaten there. All over response to the left. Man cutting in and well dealt with. Goes out for corner. Ola Kigbe there coming inside. We have 5.5 more minutes plus stoppage time. For the 40 of you that are in, please do make sure that you've hit the like button if you haven't already. Brentford's fourth corner coming from the left-hand side. Outswinger. Not a good ball in, thankfully. The first time, that was a terrible ball in, dealt with at the front post and cleared back to their halfway line with Flecken now on the ball. Taking his time and playing it long. Ball going to come in from the left-hand side, high to the back post. Aya heads it back, and Buemo falls to the floor theatrically. He's never getting a penalty for that. And we look like we might have a counter-attack here. Tavernier almost gets through past Rico Henry, but Christie almost makes Henry look silly. Or was that Tavernier? No, that was Tavernier. Tavernier almost makes Rico Henry look silly there, but and at the moment, we've got David Brooks on the left-hand side and Tavernier on the right, just defending a set piece. It's just how it's ended up. And Buemo going up against Brooks. Tries to play it in the box. Not successful. Headed out well. Ball now on our right. Brentford's left. Put in by Lewis. Looking to be put in by Lewis Potter. Going up against Aarons. Aarons needs to prevent the cross as much as possible. But it's in the box, so he doesn't want to drive in. Ola Kigbe goes through. Great defending from Aarons. And And is that a goal? He has. He's got us a goal kick. Great defending there from Aarons. Uh, oh yeah, that's they're just showing a replay of Visser throwing him. It was Visser, not Mbuemo. Absolutely throwing himself to the ground when Billing isn't even touching him. I don't understand how the ref hasn't given him a yellow for a dive there because that it's not even debatable. It was just a really obvious dive. And we have um, Christie coming off for Chris Mepham, which I believe is the last substitution we can now make because that was our third sub window. I think. Yes. So we've made we've used all substitution windows up, only making one change at a time because it was Semenya for Brooks first, then it was Clive up for Tav, and now it's Mepham coming on um, for Christie, which means it is going to be surely going to be a back three or back five rather. But what you need from that back, you need the assist from out wide. You need the players out wide to really work hard to prevent the crosses coming in, to help prevent the crosses coming in. But Aarons plays it long, looking for Solanke to hold things up and make it awkward for Brentford. Flecken looks good on the ball. To be fair, I don't think they'll miss Raya too much, but he has conceded 2 goals, and that's more important. No, it is definitely a back five. I don't think that's a bad call because Brentford are going to just play crosses into the box. You want as many men to stop them from being able to play that shot as possible. We are unfortunately going to play this like a sponge the rest of the game. Make them on and bring on more pressure. It will, but it's the natural way of the game. We were under a lot of pressure as it stood. So what we just need is to make sure that you need to have Kirkes backed up by his left wing, which it should be Tav. You need Tav to do his work defensively on the left, and you need Brooks to do his work defensively on the right to try and mitigate as much pressure as possible that the middle face. Because they're not going to attack through the middle. They're going to attack from out wide. Ball played off Olakigbe from Aarons. Good throw forward from Aarons to Solanke. Solanke forces Pinnock to put the ball out. 1 more minute. Well, 70 seconds plus any stoppages added on. There can't be that many. There has been the goal, and the subs, but there's been very little in terms of injuries and time wasting, I would say, apart from Neto getting his card. So I'm not expecting any more than 5 minutes, maybe even 4. Plenty of time for the ball to come in. Great header cleared by, I think that's Mepham. Yeah, it is Mepham on the right, Tabani in the middle, and Senesi on the left of the 3. Ball goes out right to Visser, going up against Kirkes, who funnels him out. And I'm not sure who that is on the right, but Mbuemo cuts inside. Ayer on the ball, back to Mbuemo. Not closed down enough, well defended by Mepham, who puts it wide. It doesn't go out, and Brooks clears the ball long. Well done, but someone needs to get closer to actually receiving that ball so that it doesn't just keep coming back. Oh, I agree. It's still not great because we will just be sitting in the entire rest of the game, but I completely understand it. Ball comes into the box again, headed in and wide by Lewis Potter. 6 minutes. I'm surprised it's 6. I do feel like I don't think there's been 6 minutes worth of stoppages. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all, Roy. Doesn't surprise me at all. Oh, there we go. There we go. There it comes. There it comes. There comes that flipping hand motion. You can tap his watch as much as he likes. It's not going to make a difference. Great work from Solanke there. Wins the ball off Pinnock, but unfortunately slips when he takes a turn when he tries to turn. Could have just said home club bias, Ben. That would have worked. Wouldn't necessarily been right, just like that one, but would have worked. And Buemo going up against Kirkes on the right hand side, forces him inside into Billing. Billing keeps battling away with him. Nicely done. Falls to the left hand side. Ball comes in. Absolutely no one there to take it. Kirkes unfortunately doesn't burst to get the ball, and it stays with Brentford. And Buemo on the ball. Puts the ball in, finds Aya, who tries to back header it into the middle of the box, but fails. We have 4 minutes and 15 seconds of stoppages at a minimum still to be played. But like I said, it's all about them crossing it in. That's it. They are just trying to cross the ball in. We need to try and funnel them inside to make the crosses more difficult, which is exactly what Kirkes did from Buemo there. Neto whacks it long to no one. Oh no, Kirkes, no, and Buemo's in one-on-one, and it's a goal. That's one mistake, one unnecessary mistake, and it's just not necessary from Kirkes at all. It's just not necessary. Just he dives in trying to win the ball because he's tired. It's one long ball, and Kirkes, unfortunately, he made the decision a 19-year-old's going to make in that position. He dives in to try and win the ball that he doesn't need to. He's 50 yards away from the goal, and he dives in to try and win a ball that he doesn't have to, which leaves Buemo one-on-one, who scores. I mean, I get the point, Ben, but it's like that's not about that. Could have happened if we were still four at the back. The change to five at the back doesn't make a difference to that goal because it's all about Kirkes being tired and making a bad, very bad decision. Like deciding to play at five at the back. If we were four at the back, that goal is still scored. It makes no difference because Solanke is the only man up top, and the ball isn't played to Solanke. Nothing about that goal changes if we were at five at the back. If we're four at the back instead of five, nothing about that goal changes. Hopefully, what it does do, because Brentford have got another flipping corner, means that Mepham does his job and prevents something worse happening. I mean, Brentford won the header, but it fell nicely for Neto, who doesn't have to do anything else. Neto now tries to play it long, early. Dominic Solanke should get on the end of this. He does well. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. He's still tired and A is fresh. It's so frustrating. It would have been, I mean, Keith mentioned it before, it would have been something of a smash and grab because we haven't been the better team. We have, I think in the moments we've attacked, when we have been on top, we have looked good, but we haven't been the better team overall, I don't feel. Even if it's been relatively even for large parts of it, when you iron things out. Great tackle from Lewis Cook. I think a draw is a fair result, but it is very frustrating to be in the lead when you hit injury and not win. Maybe Gary, but it's the same with lots of other teams as well. And when I say mentality, again, talk that comes from Kirkes. All comes from Kirkes being tired and making a mistake. But I'm not going to I don't want to shift Like, I don't like the idea of blaming him entirely. We all know he was entirely wrong for that goal. He was entirely at fault for that goal, but he's had a really good game, and it's feels very harsh to suddenly just turn all your blame onto a 19-year-old for that. Please don't, please don't. That should be the last attack of the game because we just hit 96 minutes. But there was a ball in the box that we managed to somehow deal with. Again, not stopping the crosses enough. Oh, Billing. That's got to be the end of the match now. Ref, just blow the whistle, please. Yeah, there we go. Oh, so close. So close to a win. So close to our first win of the season. Ah, I would have taken a draw before the game. I would have taken a draw before the game. And I'm just doing a little check because I'm doing a score predictor game. Cool, 2-2. I said 1-1 on here, but I put 2-2 in my score predictor, and I got that bang on. So I'm very pleased with that. Right, let me close that window. And right, okay. We're going to obviously do a bit of review. We'll talk about what we think about that game, and yeah, have to wallow in the sorrows of losing 2 points, but also you must be pleased that we were in that position. We showed some strength. There were positives for that, without a doubt, as frustrating as that will be. And I think a lot of us would have taken a point from that game. So we'll take a break and discuss our thoughts when I come back. Keep typing away in the comments, and I'll discuss a review of that game with you when I get back. See you in a tick. Welcome back, everyone. So, final score: Brentford 2, AFC Bournemouth 2. Let's get everyone's thoughts in the chats, their summaries, their thoughts, how they feel about that game. Yeah, I mean, frustrating to not take the full 3 points without a doubt. But I would have taken a draw beforehand. I predicted a draw, and I think there are definitely positives to come out of the game. But obviously, the concerns maintain that there were definitely things we could have done better, and I mean, unfortunately, it is. Well, I mean, it's a massive individual error from our left back that led to their second goal, and it was a massive individual mistake from their left back that led to our second goal. So I think there evens itself out. To an extent, the frustration would be that obviously it's the massive error from Kirkes that leads to their second goal, and it's the complete brain fart in the space of 20 seconds that Neto had that led to their first goal. Just huge errors from two of our players that completely prevented us from getting those from getting the 3 points in that game. So yeah, frustrating. Let's bring up the stats. Thanks to SofaScore. This momentum bar, obviously, sort of the last chunk of this game, Brentford were very much on top of it. I mean, we scored our goal completely against the run of play thanks to a counter attack. And you can see how much Brentford were dominating this final quarter of the match, which again, is partly down to us sort of sitting in, but they were well on top when we scored. It was just completely against the run of play. In terms of strong players, Ryan Christie shows up well, as does Philip Billing. I think some of these are just statistically, I think just maybe past numbers means that. Let me just zoom in a little bit so that you can see this better. Hang on a minute. If I click lineups, there we go. In terms of players that show up well for Brentford, I mean, most of that team had a good game according to SofaScore. Obviously, Rico Henry making the massive error leading to a goal. Norgard had for me, a quiet game from 6, which is why I think it went quite well. Very simple passing. Doesn't need to take many risks because he allows everyone else around him to make those. But I mean, Schade hit the post, Visser hit the post, and Wemmer missed a golden chance at the start of the second half. Lewis Potter hit the post, but he would have been offside for it. As for Bournemouth, I think Solanke did some pretty darn good work up front on his own without a lot of support. Billing, I think, had a really good game. Billing and Christie swapped the other way around. Christie was the 10. I think Billing did a lot of really good work. I think Christie shows up well mostly. I mean, he showed up all over the place. Christie did work really hard, but I think mostly it was due to a lot of successful passes. He made one key chance and one which was a big chance. One shot on target. I think just a lot of what he did just shows up well statistically, although I don't think he was amazing, but he had a decent game. And again, the wingers had good games. The fullbacks rather. I think Kirkes and Aarons just generally had pretty decent games, but Semenyo unfortunately just wasn't as active going forward as we would have liked to. I think this was his worst game by far for Semenyo, and it was quite right to take him off for Brooks. And then Cliver, I think, worked very hard, but just wasn't doing enough going forward. I think when you look at one cross not successful, one key pass to be fair, one long ball, one shot block, no shots on target, no shots off target, no successful dribbles. Actually says he only won 4 out of 14 ground duels, but I think a few of those times he actually pushed players into then losing the ball. Actually, let me press F11. There we go. Yeah, I think Justin. I think the stats show him up harshly. But overall, obviously, the fact is that it's 2-2. In terms of expected goals, I mean, look at that. Expected goals, 3.29 to Brentford. I mean, that's just all their really good chances. How many big chances they miss? I scroll down. Big chances missed. 4 big chances missed. We missed 2. But, just generally, when you look at the game, while I think Bournemouth had good moments, you've got to be very pleased with the draw there. You've got to be very, very pleased with getting a draw out of that game. When you consider the opportunities that Brentford missed, the terrible finishing, this could easily have finished 5-2 to Brentford. Easily have finished 5-2 to Brentford. I think that would have been harsh, but I mean, yeah, a draw is a great result for us. All told. Oh, what are you doing? SofaScore. They've been reloading. Shots 21-12. 7 on target to 5 means we were a lot better at actually making good of those chances. Corners 5-2, offside fouls, yellow cards. Yeah, those big chances, my word. Shots inside the box, 16 shots inside the box. Wow. Flipping heck. Yeah, more passes and more possession. More successful with interceptions. Yeah. Oh boy, that was that XG is just that's a hell of a difference. When you can, like I said, it was that Vissa shot at the start of the second half, and Bueno shot that missed at the start of the second half. A Vissa shot from inside the box that hit the post inside the second half, in about hour mark ish. Sharda going through against Aarons and hitting the bar, which was a really good hitting the post, which was a really good save by Neto. Those were some of the massive ones that they missed. As for us, I think there was a Solanke chance that was considered a big chance that I don't remember what that was. Actually, let me just put these back up again. So SofaScore do the nice thing now where the circles with a dot in the middle of or what they consider the big chances. So obviously we scored from one of those because that was the Brooks goal. Let's see. This was. Let me zoom out a bit so it can actually show us. Oh, thank you, SofaScore, for messing that up for me. So you have Brooks' goal, Solanke with a chance on the 19th minute, which went low. I'd have to look back at that one because I don't remember it. Semenyo's header that he should have done a lot better with. Ryan Christie from the right-hand side. That's not a big chance. That wasn't a big chance. I don't understand some of these. 0.05 is never a big chance. A 1 in 20 is not a big chance. I don't get what this does at times. And Dom Solanke with a great one, a great finish, which was not a high XG chance by any means, but 1.8 is decent. As for Brentford, their big chances. Oh, there's their goal, which just look at that. Like, how does that go in? And Neto just, Aya with, that shot from close range, which dribbled towards Neto, which he should have done better with. You've got Norgard with a shot in with a completely free header in the box. That was another free header from a corner. Sharda going through 1-on-1, and you have. Or maybe the dots are shot on target. Maybe the dots are shots on target. Maybe I'm messing that up. I think I've got that wrong. I think the dots aren't ones shot on target. I think they're shots on target. Rather than they must be shots on target because that 0.04 is not a big chance. Yeah, I think that's shots on target. Maybe I've misread that. Anyway. Okay. I mean, yes, stats never tell a full story, but they give you a good impression of what happened. And I think Brentford definitely can feel a little bit frustrated that they didn't win that game. Let me go back to the start because I think there's a lot of comments that come in that I've completely missed because I've just been talking. There we go. Ian, hello. Well done, John. Feel deflated now, but a point is okay, I suppose. Given that they hit the post 3 times, your commentary was far better than the coverage. Thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate that. Roy, thank you for joining us. Keith, Dumb Sky Merson was embarrassing on the other transfer. Merson's always embarrassing. Hello, Pete. Thanks for joining us. At least we haven't spent £1 billion just to lose at home to Forest. Oh, I need to have a look at the scores. I will bring that up shortly. I like the sound of that. Forest are a team that I now think are going to go far this season. I really thought they were going to just about scrape survival, and then suddenly I think, wow, actually they've really got something going for them, particularly with that Sangari transfer and their deadline day business. Nottingham Forest, I think they're spending too much, but what they are spending on, I think, is starting to really come together. Keith, personally, I think it's now a case of building partnerships and consistent selection. I don't think many teams will get much out of Brentford at home. No, absolutely not. Hey, Tottenham got 2-2 away at Brentford, first game of the season. 2-2 was not a bad scoreline away to Brentford at all. Yes, Keith, please do join us more. I mean, I will do as many of these as I can. I do want to keep doing these. Obviously, I expect us to get more numbers for away games because the previous 2 games that I've done, our numbers of viewers hovered at around 17 for the Spurs game and about 22 for the West Ham game. Today, we've hit around 40 pretty consistently. So it's definitely, I think away games make a big difference. But please do join us whenever I'm doing these. Any game that I go to, obviously, I won't be doing a watch along, but I'll only be getting to about 7 or 8 this season. Ben, deflated, but of course, a decent point. Yep. Yes, please do. Ben's always around. He Ben loves it on here. Yeah, I did. Ideally, we should have a backup left back to come up for Kirkers. He was suffering cramp and limping, so an error was. Yeah, and just young, tired. He stretched for a ball he shouldn't have done. If he was in sound mind, either one of 2 things would have happened if that was in the first 15 minutes. Either he jockeys that, which he should do, and give Mbeumo space to take a touch, or just run with him. He doesn't dive in. Second thing that happens is that he does dive in, but he actually gets it because he's not tired and he's more reactive and he can deal with it better. Wayne, yes, thank you for giving the 2-2 on that one. You were absolutely right. It was in the end. That's true. That would have been treated as a big chance. Absolutely right. I got to that one before. Chrissy Slanky mix up the chance, I think. Oh, really? That's another one. But that's a big chance. That's something they would have considered a big chance when obviously that would have been ruled out for offside. So yeah, that's another one. He did indeed. You're absolutely right. That Christie chance from the right side? No, I think that's about a 1 in 20. Particularly if when there's a left footer on the right foot on his weaker side, because it depends on the model. Sometimes they incorporate that, sometimes they don't. And yes, Keith, do keep joining us, and I hope you get better soon. Sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. Right, so final thoughts. Well, I suppose before I touch on the final thoughts of that game, let's have a look at where we are in the table. What has that done for us on the table? And before we go to the table, let's have a look at the results from this game week so far. And the early kickoff was Luton 1 West. That was Friday. Sorry, was Luton 1 West Ham 2. Sheffield United Everton 2 was the early kickoff. Man City beat Fulham 5-1, and Nottingham Forest went to Stamford Bridge and won 1-0. Burnley got destroyed by Tottenham, which is great news for us and for anyone that probably. I mean, I just hope that Haaland got a hat trick because my FPL team needs a boost. And then obviously 2-2 here. We'll have a look at have a look at the goal scorers and whatnot in your own time. As for the table, Man City go top again, with Tottenham now in second, going above West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal up there, Brighton, who we play next, I believe. I don't know why I'm so terrible at remembering what our games are. Indeed, yes, we play Brighton next. then Brentford, who have now got a win and 3 draws. There's a few unbeaten teams, but I don't think Brentford would have wanted as many draws they've got. Villa, Forest up into 9th, United in 10th, Chelsea sticking where they were last year in 11th, Palace taking 12th as usual, Fulham, Newcastle, Wolves, Bournemouth with our second point of the season in 16th, staying out of the relegation zone for the time being, with Luton and Burnley with a game still to be played on them, both on the only teams yet to pick up a point. So final thoughts before I let everyone go. Thank you again so much to everyone that joined today. I really enjoyed having a chat with everyone. And I do want to keep doing those as much as possible because they are very good fun for me. A huge thank you first to our regular monthly members, for those of you that make regular subscriptions, and for those of you that don't, that make one-off payments. Those of you that do, we really, really do appreciate it. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army to make a single donation or become a regular monthly to make regular monthly payments. It helps us pay for this streaming access to StreamYard, and assists with any possible upgrades with mics, as Kirk recently bought himself a new mic. I know that at least Steve is after a new mic, and all your donations really do help in terms of keeping this going and then helping us make a better product for you to enjoy, because we do this to hope to provide something for you that's a bit different from the other voices you hear, and something for us Bournemouth fans. So, final thoughts before I let everyone get on with the rest of their day. 2-2 is a good result. It's frustrating to lose those 2 points, and it's even more frustrating to know that both the goals we conceded were so incredibly avoidable due to mistakes. One by an experienced player that should know better in Neto, and the other by a youngster that is one of our set players of the season so far that just unfortunately didn't quite have it in him at the time to make the right decision as a youngster that was very, very tired and had recently gone down with cramp. As for our attacking, I think you could see a lot more from Christie today. I think Christie did a lot better at showing up in terms of going forward. I think Solanke did a really good job at holding the ball up at times and obviously took his goal very well. But beyond that, it was frustrating that whilst Kluivert worked really hard, and I think Semenyo did as well, neither of them really provided anything going forward, which meant that we struggled at times, I think, from attacking out wide. Billing was, I think, immense in the middle of the park yet again. And I think Aarons, whilst he had issues at times with Schade, I think the amount of times that he won his battle with his man was really positive to see. And Kirkes also did pretty darn well on the left-hand side for the most part. Senesi had a decent game, obviously got an assist. Zabani, although he did make a mistake that almost cost us really badly with Mbeumo's shot that he hit wide at the start of the second half. And Zabani had mostly a good game, but I think, again, he needs to improve on his on defending set pieces. Speaking of which, that is the other big takeaway. Why are we still so bad at dealing with set pieces? I just don't get it. I don't get how we continue to struggle every single week at defending set pieces. And we have been fortunate that as of yet, I don't think we've conceded from set piece yet. Am I right in that regard? The 3 goals against Liverpool, no. The West Ham goal, no. That was from a poor play from Rothwell losing the ball. That wasn't a set piece. Tottenham, no. I don't think so. No, it wasn't. And neither of these 2 goals from set pieces. How have we not conceded from a set piece yet, despite the fact that we're so bad at defending them? Wow, that's lucky. But yeah, I think I've talked basically every player. Neto needs to grow up, despite being the most experienced player in our team. Oh, yes, sorry. Direct free kick today. Okay, that's not quite the same as defending set pieces, but yes, direct free kick today. And you also mentioned Cook doing well. Cook did well. Minutes into tab. Goal for Brooks. Christie industrious but frustrating at times. Yeah, Clive seemed more confident. Set piece terrible. Yeah, that's a decent summation of a lot of points. Scoring a goal from a counter is great. I think that's a really good positive thing. And yeah, I think we've all, and Ian Thompson mentioned it as well, just like regardless of the result, things have definitely improved. And they have been doing so game on game for the most part. I think Tottenham and Liverpool was roughly even in terms of positivity, but this was definitely better than all the previous 3 games we played so far. I think in general, whilst we did get a little bit lucky in terms of Brentford not taking their chances, over the next 4 to 5 weeks, that needs to reach a peak at which we are well and truly now into proper Iraola ball when we play against the teams we expect to get 3 points from. But 2 points away at Brentford is really good result, a very positive result, and hopefully can take that into our next game at home to Brighton. Is it home to Brighton, isn't it? Must be at home to Brighton. It is at home to Brighton. Yes, at home to Brighton on the 24th. Then we play Stoke in the Cup on the 26th. And then we play Arsenal at home on the 30th of September. I don't know why I thought that was the 1st of October. Yeah, and interestingly, oh no, sorry, wait a minute. Brighton next? No, we don't. We play Chelsea next at home. I'm looking at the wrong flipping part of the screen. We play Chelsea next at home. We play Chelsea, but that is the 17th. That is Sunday, the 17th of September. So we have 2 weeks to work on it. As I think you mentioned, Keith, earlier, we have 2 weeks to work on our set pieces and improve our Iraola ball. We've got players that will be going off to international duty, but a large chunk of the squad will be sticking at home and hopefully working hard to improve more and more. And we play Chelsea next, who we have a great record against generally. Hopefully we do better against them this season than we did the last season where we didn't get a single point. But, right, okay, I've nattered on long enough. The stream has been going for 2 hours and 54 minutes. It's time to move on. It's time to enjoy the rest of our weekend, and it's time to worry about how little will be spoken about on Match of the Day tonight. Regardless, everyone that's joined me, thank you very much. Please do, if you haven't already, I haven't been able to check, but please do hit the like button. We've had 40 people at times in the stream, so I hope that you've all been hitting the like button. If you have been sticking around, because you must have liked it enough if you are still here. But I hope everyone has a lovely rest of your day, a lovely rest of the weekend, and I hope everyone has a nice international break. It'll feel like a long 2 weeks before we get back to Bournemouth playing, and we'll have to deal with watching England instead. But until then, when I see you quite possibly for another one of these in 2 weeks, we'll let you know. Have a great rest of the day. Have a lovely rest of the weekend. And we'll see you in the next video. Up the cherries.